We have been preparing for war. Robert's will.
They call me Conor McGregor, there's no one better. I'ma fuck Khabib up, then go rematch Floyd Money Mayweather. If this dog shit Dagestani thinks he can stand with me, I'll damage him and leave him panicking. Let Russia know I am the king. I don't like you, won't even pretend to try to. I've waited this long to fight you. You shouldn't have fucked with my crew.
We have been preparing for war.
You ambushed Artem Lobov in the hotel lobby, so we went and called game. Now I'm coked up off of Molly, so I'm coming to the stage, and I think that you should probably stay the fuck up out my way. Somebody get me a dolly.
You really think you're gonna enjoy with me? You can say, hey, you have a problem with my brother, you give him slap, now you have to give answer.
Robert's will.
You think whiskey gonna help you?
You're Conor McGregor. What the fuck is wrong with you? Come here, let me smash you like chicken, just let me humble you. You take all these drugs, but you won't take home a W. If we fight in UFC or if we fight with guns and crews. No, let me stop it, you don't want me to take it there. If you want, you can take a bear, send location, and I'll be there.
Ask these nuts.
Hey, they me and Maya. It's the king, I know you're gonna try to ride me like a... But you know I ain't having that. Do you know you're human, or do you really think that you're I think it's the latter, hope. Bitch, I graduated, I ain't going back to having no... Drop him right in front of all of y'all. He ain't about to do me like he did my boy Young Masvidal. Excuse me, Mr. Woodley. You're talking to me stupid. I think you need some more schooling. I'm gonna teach him some respect. He ain't gonna be talking when I'm squeezing on his neck. They call it jujitsu, hope. If you ain't know, you'll know when I am hanging on this dude's throat like a... You can call me Mr. Maya. I'm gonna take his belt and hold it up and put it right inside my fucking... Here comes Wonder Boy to Liverpool so proudly. He's got to shut Till up cause he done called him out. See, nothing much to say when you know you're gonna fuck Till up. Yeah, yeah, Wonder Boy. Your karate's too much for his power. Wonder Boy, won't you please go and save the day and go fuck Till up. Nobody fucking with me, yeah. I'm about to go be Stipe, yeah. Moving up to heavyweight, yeah. And I am destined to be great, yeah. And if you didn't know, they call me DC. And there's no one that you know that can beat me. Yeah, I fought Jon Jones, but was he clean? I don't think so. What's in that PP? Steroids, cocaine, probably weed. Testosterone, dick pills, and speed. And shrooms, and pills, and codeine. Goddamn, John turned into a dope fiend. And Stipe's about to turn into a folding chair. When I fold them up, I'ma win 2 belts and hold them up. On my champ shit, Conor knows what's up, little bitch.
Bye.
What is going on, full-time family? Bye. Felicia. Wait. Nope, we're not playing that. What is going on, you guys? We got some news. We got some fights that boy, are they happening? Are they not? They seem to be. UFC 235 seems to be, the card seems to be coming together pretty well. We've got a potential UFC 235 fight card we're going to be looking at, and it's going to be potentially headlined by Jon Jones versus Anthony Smith. Love the fight. We talked about this a little bit before it was made, as if how much I think it would be a good fight. Regardless, Corey Anderson, he's definitely making his way up there, for his claim toward a title shot. Maybe we'll see like Corey Anderson versus Gustafsson, something like that, because he definitely made his case for why he could be next for the title shot. But I love this matchup. Also, though, not just this. Yesterday on Twitter, Tyron Woodley was denying the Usman fight, but today ESPN and Ariel Helwani are reporting that it is all but a done deal. Now, the UFC has not officially announced Tyron Woodley versus Kamaru Usman yet, but it is still being reported and by reputable sources, ESPN and Ariel Helwani. So Woodley versus Usman, UFC 235, co-main event to Jon Jones versus Anthony Smith. And then we're going to be looking at just the entire card a little bit as well. Card going down, I believe, on March 2nd. And that's 1 week before UFC Wichita, which I'll be at live for my first live UFC events ever. Can't fucking wait. Marion Renault's going to be fighting Yana Kunitskaya on that card, as well as a couple heavyweights already set. Those are the only 2 fights. But right here, you can see the UFC 235 fight card. We'll talk about a little bit of these fights on the show. Not going to be a super long show today. Want to do a panel from the beginning, so as soon as I'm done with this opening intro soliloquy, then I'll put out the link, and we'll see if any of you guys want to talk some MMA tonight. If you want to hop on the Google Hangout, talk some MMA, spit your piece, that's what this show's for. 30 minutes to an hour. I don't got a lot of time tonight because actually, I don't know when they're going to do it. I got a couple hours at least. My internet's going to be getting shut off tonight because, I got roommates and the bill isn't going to be paid. It's due tonight. They didn't have their half until tomorrow morning when the pawn shop's open. So we're going to be without internet for about 8 hours, but that's no big deal. But that could cut off at 10 p.m. Anytime from 10 p.m. to 12 p.m. I could be getting shut off tonight. So with that being said, we still got at least a couple hours. I do, but within that couple hours, I got to get some shit done. So this is going to be what we do for about 30 minutes to an hour of it. Talk some MMA. Look at this potential UFC 235 fight card. We talked about the potential main event and co-main event. But also Ben Askren versus Robbie Lawler, which was going to be a part of that UFC 233 card that got scrapped in Anaheim. Then you've got Holly Holm versus Aspen Ladd. That's a good fight. Zabit versus Jeremy Stevens. I fucking love that fight. Tisha Torres versus Weili Zhang. That's fun. Mickey Gall versus Diego Sanchez. Still, Mickey Gall getting a little bit of a, I would say, favorable matchmaking. And that's what I talk about when I say like in favor or favorable matchmaking, right? You're not gonna see Mickey Gall and Sage Northcutt get thrown at the fucking wolves. Like that's what I mean. Like, some fighters, it really depends, I believe, on your marketability, your connections and stuff like that. Because Mickey Gall, very talented fighter, but, Diego Sanchez, definitely a winnable fight. And I think Mickey Gall's kind of is going to get those winnable fights until he's ready to step up in competition. And that's what this is. Mickey Gall, dangerous submission artist, great jiu-jitsu, but he's been training with Joe Schilling, so I'm sure he's wanting to show people how his stand-up has been improving as well. Diego Sanchez, we did see him. He recently got a win in his most recent fight, if I'm not mistaken. But before that, he was knocked out by Ali Quinta. Let's pull up Diego Sanchez's record. Diego Sanchez Sherdog cut. But I think he's coming off a win, though. I think he's fought once since then. Yep, he beat Craig White at UFC 228. So Diego Sanchez versus Mickey Gall, also at UFC 235. Macy Chiasson versus Gina Mazzani. That's a good fight. Gina Mazzani will definitely kill any hype if you're not prepared, for a good ground game. Gina Mazzani training at ATT, I believe. Macy Chiasson, she's the girl who just... Did she win the Ultimate Fighter? I think she might have won the Ultimate Fighter at featherweight. Am I tripping? Or she fought on the Ultimate Fighter finale and she won that fight. She beat somebody And I think she might have Macy Chips. I think she just won the Ultimate Fighter finale at featherweight. What the hell am I tripping? Macy Chia Son. Yeah. This is the girl. She just won the Ultimate Fighter at featherweight. Now, so unless Gina Mazzani is unless Gina Mazzani is moving up to featherweight, this girl just won the Ultimate Fighter at featherweight, and her first fight is going to be at bantamweight. That would be interesting. And then Misha Serkinov versus OSP. So stacked cards so far for UFC 235. Definitely pumped for it. Jon Jones versus Anthony Smith. I mean, man, we're going to talk about that. We're going to wait for the panel. I want to hear you guys' thoughts on that. And then we're going to start the show off. You guys got to hear this epic Nick Diaz rant. He's trashing CrossFit, trashing GSP, trashing GSP's water workouts. Just pretty funny little clip on Instagram. I thought this was pretty... I had to play this like twice, and I laughed every time. This shit's fucking funny. All right, let's pull it up. Make sure you guys can hear it.
I can't say that. Hey, you know what I'm saying? Fuck CrossFit. Fuck y'all, bitch. Fuck stupid water workouts too. Fucking bitch ass George, fucking little bitch, dumbass bitch. Swimming 100 on the 120, pussy. That's what I'm saying. Fuck that, man. Grab her by the... I can't say that. Hey, you know what I'm saying?
Yo. One more time.
Fuck CrossFit. Fuck y'all, bitch. Fuck stupid water workouts too. Fucking bitch ass George, fucking little bitch, dumbass bitch. Swimming 100 on the 120, pussy.
Swimming 100 on the 120, pussy. Yo, Nick Diaz wants all the smoke in the water racing. He wants all the smoke. He said we could do a triathlon, a biathlon, a swimathlon, however the fuck you want in GSP. Fuck it. Let's get in the ring. Maybe. I don't know. Either way, that was hilarious to me. Nick Diaz going off on crowd. Yo, you know what I imagine? I imagine this was like 2 in the morning. Nick Diaz just getting home from the party. You know what I'm saying? Ain't even smoked yet because he was too hyped up. I don't think he was super high right there unless he was off the sativas. You know, maybe he wasn't. Maybe it was the sativas. So maybe he was off them sativas, just got home from the party, still a little jacked up on Mountain Dew, turns on the TV, and what does he see? Or turns on the internet, what does he see? George St-Pierre in a motherfucking aqua CrossFit, you know, in the water, getting some sort of sponsorship. Like, motherfucker, I'm the real swimmer. You taking everything I work for, motherfucker. Fuck CrossFit. Fuck GSP. You don't want no smoke in this pool. You know it, motherfucking. I'll be your picogram. Let's get in the pool. Olympic size, motherfucker. I'm just saying. Nick Diaz went off. Also, TJ Dillashaw responding to Ali Abdelaziz, saying he won't make weight for 125. Ali Abdelaziz says, I don't think TJ's going to make weight. And if he misses weight by 0.1 pounds, Joseph Benavidez is going to fight. We're going to give Joseph a shot because I personally don't think he'll make it. If he makes it, he's going to be weak, fragile. He's going to have a long, long night with the champ. He's a good fighter, but he can't fight at the pace Henry's going to fight him at 125. He doesn't have the speed to fight Henry. And Zach Fisher took to Instagram and said, TJ Dillashaw, Henry Cejudo's manager was talking shit saying you won't make weight and they will fight Joseph Benavidez come fight night. Joke's on him. His boy's about to get smoked. Team Dillashaw, TJ Dillashaw responded, said, I'm closer to 25s right now than I would be to 35s this many days out. So TJ Dillashaw ain't hearing that shit. He's ready. They got the science on their side. Sam Calvito, all them dudes. TJ Dillashaw, they know what they're doing over there at Team Elevation. So I'm not really worried, actually, about TJ Dillashaw's weight cut, maybe as much as I should be, because it is his first time we've seen him go into flyweight, but I think he'll be able to make it, and he doesn't seem too concerned right now. So, but, you know, Ali Abdelaziz is also, I believe, Cody Garbrandt's manager. So with that being said, there's a little bit of a beef there. I mean, Ali Abdelaziz, he's the man, he's really the $1 million manager, not only because if he's your manager, he'll get you fights, but shit, if you're going against one of his fighters, he's going to help sell the fight by talking that shit. If his fighter's not much of a trash talker, you better believe he'll be in there. whole, one of his clients, Khabib Nurmagomedov, he was in on the, you know, kind of talking trash a little bit back and forth. He had a whole part in the Conor McGregor shit. They got into it a little bit. Andy's a great manager. He almost had Cesar Eubanks that title shot, which people know about. He got Henry Cejudo with the second title shot, the rematch for the title. He just got Kamaru Usman a title shot with Tyron Woodley, and he'll sell the fight for you. You can't do better than Ali Abdelaziz out here, I don't think. I mean, personal shit aside, I don't know. Like I said, I don't look at people personally because that's none of my fucking business. But what he does as a manager is A1. I'll tell you that much. But here he is again. His fighter this time, not Cody Garbrandt. He represents Henry Cejudo. Still going to be trying to get that belt though from TJ Dillashaw. See if he can bring it home. And then other than that, yeah, just Anthony Smith saying that he has Jon Jones' attention, but wonders what's Jon Jones' true intent here. We're going to talk about that a little bit as well, because he just got the fight with Jon Jones ahead of Corey Anderson. And like I said, Corey Anderson made a great case, laid out his case for why he could get the title shot and potentially should get the title shot. But man, I'm not going to lie, as a fan, no way I'm going to fucking poo-poo when you tell me we get to watch Jon Jones versus Anthony Smith. Fuck it. If Anthony Smith wants to fight picogrammed up Jon Jones, I'm going to watch it. You think you can beat him on the rocket fuel? Let's see. I don't think they got it. But now, here's the thing. But still, it really don't matter. I don't even care about Jon Jones' whole drug test situation. If the UFC's cool with it, if USADA's cool with it, if the commissions are cool with it, because now the commission that turned Jon Jones down, they've got a hearing as well. The guys that turned this fight down, that made this whole stink and made this card go to California on short notice, that was the Nevada State Athletic Commission. They're the ones that denied Jon Jones on short notice, and you know they couldn't get the fight, the holiday schedule, whatever, so they had to move it on short notice. So Jon Jones has a hearing there on, I believe, January 28th or 29th, because UFC 235 is in Las Vegas. So the same guys that just denied Jon Jones in Vegas are going to have to approve him for this fight to go down. So a little bit of hurdles to get through, but barring any setbacks, this is the plans for UFC 235. Jon Jones versus Anthony Smith, and I think it's a great fight. Anthony Smith has been knocking motherfuckers out all the way up from middleweight, looked great. Only lost one fight to Thiago Santos, who was a motherfucking killer. Then he moved up to light heavyweight, and he's knocked out everybody in his path. He knocked out, what, Rashad Evans, then who? Was it Vitor? I know most recently it was like Volkan Ozdemir. Like he's knocking out former champions and top contenders now at light heavyweight. So definitely got the chance. He's a guy you can never count out. Not only can he knock you out, but if you don't finish him, he can come on late in the fight. And he's a guy that has came from behind and won fights. Somebody won the first 2 rounds. Anthony Smith came back and finished him in the third. Or, you know, he's a guy that comes on late in the fight as well. So you can never count him out. Got that clutch gene, if you will. So love this fight. Anthony Smith has been murking dudes at light heavyweight. Fuck yeah, let's go. And if you just want to use your imagination, I mean, this is a good fight as well. I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I could hella just lie to somebody and get them to watch this fight if I wanted to. Like, yo, Dad, check this out, bro. Jon Jones is about to fight this racist motherfucker. Look. I'm just lying, though, right? Just trying to sell the fight. Look, he's even got a bald head. Remember, you ever seen the movie American History X? Jon Jones about to get payback. Okay, I'm just, like, if I wanted to lie to some friends and get them to come over for fight night, okay, I'm just kidding. They're going to be over here for the Jon Jones fight anyway. But if you want to use your imagination, like, you can make this fight real good. You could probably do that for any fight, though. So, yeah, let's get the link, man. Let's get the link out for the panel. And then, if you guys want to hop on here, talk some MMA, that's what tonight's for. We'll talk some MMA for about 30 minutes. And then I'll be out your hair for the night. I'll pull up the chat as well, but I want to get the link in the chat. Invite people, copy link. Here we go. Jay Skill says full-time. What's good with the wrench, my brother? Yo, where's it at? Add moderator. Jay Skills in the building. Boom. Boom. There's the link. Oh, I need some headphones before this shit comes out and it's all echoey and do-do-do-do-do-do. Are these my other ones? Yes, these ones should work. Actually, I don't think they do. I use these ones. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Alright, guys, gotta plug in my headphones. Miss y'all, says Fat Ninja Flip. Yes, sir, for sure. Alan Clark says Tony time. Play Tony time. I got your back. While I plug in these headphones, we'll play some Tony time. UFC Yankovic. Boom. It's Tony time, bitch. I don't care who's fucking with me. Staying away from Tim Sousa, struggle for Khabib. You don't wanna fight, you wanna cuddle with me. Hey, my elbows are knives and I'ma cut you with these. Okay, here we go. Yeah, they wishing, they wishing, they wishing, they wishing, they wishing on me. It's Tony time, bitch, I don't care who's fucking with me. Staying away from tiramisu's a struggle for Khabib. You don't wanna fight, you wanna cuddle with me. My elbows are knives and I'ma cut you with these. I don't really give a fuck who's with me. If this fat fuck will make weights a big mystery. If you were smart, then you would probably pick me. To submit Khabib at UFC 223. To submit Pettis at UFC 229. Tony time. Tony time. I knock out, sometimes I choke. I might be the lightweight GOAT. If my leg didn't get broke, would've probably beat Khabib. Then moved up and fought Woodley. Either wait for GSP. You don't wanna mess with me. Tony time. Tony time. I knock. Fuck it, one more song while I plug them in. Jon Jones vs. Gustafson 2. Fuck you, time, Matt. I done did a lot of drugs in my day, yeah I said it, but I'm still gon' kick your ass, Gustafson, I hope you ready. When I got into the crash, I ain't know the bitch was pregnant, but they treat me like a murderer, so motherfucker critic. Bitch, I'm ready to fight, and we can fight till the death. I'll hit your ass with the right, then with the right and the left, then kick you right in the chest, and have you fighting for breath, and then I'll turn the pressure up when you would try to get rest, leave you no time to adjust. Daniel, I'm coming for the title, so quit hiding your necks, because I'm right at your neck. Yeah, you can try and fight Lesnar, but when you fight him, what's next? That's right, I'm the best. At UFC 232, I'll get my title instead. All right, we got my brother John Doe in the building, ready to talk some MMA, some UFC 235. What's going on, John Doe? Looks like we got some Tyler in here as well. What's going on, Tyler? A first timer? Maybe trolling. Who knows? Who knows? Fat Ninja Flip says, "Damn, Jones crash freestyle. I haven't heard this one. Yo, full time. Send the link on Twitter because I can't join the YouTube link. I got your back. Let's check it out. All right, I got you. Forward Twitter. Boom. Get forward in the building." Oh, Chael Sonnen on Twitter while I'm loading it up says, "Hey, Tito Ortiz, stupid. You want to fight or not?" Oh, shit. There you go, forward. I got the link in the Twitter. I sent it to you in a message. Then we ready to talk some UFC 235. Some Jon Jones versus Anthony Smith. Tyron Woodley versus Kamaru Usman. Where the hell is Colby Covington is a real question. Hisobi Korubokoru says Jon Jones is an innocent goat. Yo. Love the tent. John Doe says M24. I got Shell says Yosa L. John Doe first to notice. First to notice the tent. Alright, I think that's my boy Forward in the building. What's going on, Forward? Check, check.
Yo, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yo, nice. First and foremost, Happy New Year, bro. Happy New Year to everybody in the chat listening. Obviously, shout out to all the homies in the chat. Obviously, it's been a long time. I haven't been around for a while. Yeah, I mean, a lot's happened since I've actually been on the panel. Obviously, my boy Max Holloway came out clutch with a fantastic performance against Ortega. Obviously, we saw the GOAT come back against Gustafsson and a masterclass performance. And we saw Nunes knock out Cyborg, which is freaking crazy watching that live. Oh my days, I was so happy I stayed up to watch that because that was ridiculous. But yeah, happy to talk all things MMA, bro. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, man, that Nunes versus Cyborg, crazy. It has been
Crazy.
a while. Well, man, also I see my boy, given your name is hopped on. I was gonna say, yeah, we got to talk about that a little bit since we haven't talked since then, but we'll do that a little bit later. We'll just start it up, man. Talking a little bit about UFC 235 forward. I want to ask you about this. What do you think? And we're gonna talk about the co-main event first. Actually, what do you think about Tyron Woodley versus Kamaru Usman for the welterweight title, and Colby Covington? What do you think's going on with this guy?
Wow. So when I first saw this, I mean, obviously I saw this news boiling up for a while, and as much as obviously Kamaru is my boy, obviously I got two boys out division first, Till, and obviously Woodley kind of derailed that hype train, but I got a little bit more faith in Kamaru to get the job done. But ultimately, I did want to see Colby get the title shot first, just because he kind of earned it first because he won the interim title shot, and even though I don't like the guy, I think everybody wants to see him get his ass beat first of all. So I think like he kind of deserves it in that order, but the fact that they're giving it to Usman tells me first and foremost that the UFC has a clear agenda against Woodley, and they just want to see Woodley lose. And we saw Usman's performance against RDA, and he just thought, you know, that was so dominant. Obviously, there's a bit of recency bias in there because Colby had a decent performance against RDA as well. But when he saw Usman put the work on RDA like that for 5 rounds, he thought, you know what? They know had literally a light bulb moment in his head. He's like, you know what? This guy can get Woodley out of it. He can probably beat Woodley. So let me become an Usman fan now. Put him in a title shot, which he's actually gone and done now. Maybe he can beat Woodley. And I mean, it's looking interesting. I was talking to Infamous earlier today, and he was saying that, you know what, even though it's not the fight that we wanted with Colby, the build up to this one could be just as fiery, just because these guys were talking, going back on Twitter the other day. Woodley actually called Usman a coon, which was, freaking. I saw that. That was freaking wild, man. So I mean, even though Colby was talking about, I want to bring the welterweight division back again. I mean, you have to say, even though I think maybe last year, 2 years ago, I was saying that this division's kind of dead. The division's livening up now. You know, it's obviously a lot of people have come in and made it a bit more entertaining for us fans. So it's a good division. It's boiling up again. And even though I would love to have seen Colby in there, this is still a great matchup. This is still an even more compelling matchup in terms of who could possibly win. And I mean, I'm hoping my boy Kamaru comes up with a W, but I have a feeling Woodley's going to upset me again and knock out one of my guys. So yeah, but it's going to be a great fight because we've not seen Kamaru really even tested in the UFC. Obviously, ever since his first loss was maybe 2 fights into his career. So we've not seen him even tested. So now to go against the champion, it's going to be a tough order. So we're going to see what's going to happen, man. It's going to be. I can't wait for that fight. Honestly, I can't wait for it. It's going to be a great night of fights that night, especially UFC 235. But yeah, what a great fight that's going to be.
So I was actually waiting for Tyron Woodley to confirm this or the UFC to officially report it. Because just yesterday, which is, I think whenever he called Usman a coon or whatever, he was denying the fight, kind of saying like, you know, he still wants Colby or whatever. And he just retweeted recently Ariel Helwani's tweet where he said that it's a done deal. And also somebody else, Evan Rosenblum, tweeted and said, just spoke with Tyron Woodley, who confirmed Ariel Helwani's report. He's fighting Usman in March at UFC 235. So Tyron Woodley's retweeting and confirming that himself now. So yeah, man, the fight is official. But this is my thing about Colby Covington. For one, he's been extremely quiet. And for two, you remember whenever like Tyron Woodley was supposed to be fighting Darren Till, Colby Covington had the sinus issue, whatever. But immediately after like the fight happened and booked, he was like, "Oh, Woodley just didn't want to wait a couple more months for me. I would have been ready like in 1 more month." So how is he not ready right now? Now he's had plenty of time. Woodley fought Till. I mean, I almost feel like Colby Covington, he could lose both of these fights. So it's almost like, and he might still have to fight them both, but I mean, he was already going to get stripped of the light heavyweight title. So it's like, if you're Woodley or Covington, you could try and, you know, you're going to have to fight 2 tough fights. Whether you're Covington, you have to fight Woodley and then Usman potentially. If you're Woodley, you got to fight Kamaru, then Covington. None of those are easy fights. So I felt like for a little while, like maybe one of these guys might be trying to let the other guy knock Usman off per se, because Covington's been extremely silent. And I haven't heard of any new injury that would be keeping him out of this fight with Woodley. And I'll ask you this, John Doe. What do you like this? I would imagine you do. But what do you think about Colby Covington not fighting Tyron Woodley right now? And what are your thoughts on Kamaru Usman versus Tyron Woodley?
It doesn't really bother me, to be honest. I mean, it would have been nice to see. Honestly, I think I'd rather see Colby versus Usman.
I'm with you. I think
like out of the trifecta. I think Woodley beats both of them. Maybe Usman is the harder fight. So if it is, then that's probably the fight I would rather see. You know, whatever's the best anyway. So it doesn't really bother me that too much. It does seem kind of like a shit show. But and they do definitely seem like Dana. It seems like they hate Woodley, man. I don't know. I think it's a little bit far. You know, I think they're a little extreme with it. I like Woodley, but it is what it is. I think Woodley can beat both of them, though. I think Usman might be the better fight than Colby, but we will see.
Oh, yeah, no, to both of your points, I think you're both on something. I think Dana White might be trying to get Woodley the fuck out of here. Like Forrest said, he saw that performance versus RDA, like, oh yeah, that's our guy. Like Covington, he might have been a decent matchup. Because I mean Covington, yeah, I would pick Woodley, but I think as far as who Tyron Woodley has been fighting, since in his championship reign, who he's defended his belt against, I think Colby Covington probably has the best style matchup against Tyron Woodley. And I've explained why in the past, but I'll go next to you, given Surname. I'll ask you, what are your thoughts on Woodley versus Usman? And then I'm also going to move on to the next topic with you. Tell me your thoughts on the main event, John Doe versus Anthony Smith.
Hold up. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Did you say that you think Colby is a better stylistic matchup? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, then the guy, not then Usman, but then the guys, that Woodley has been fighting, like Maya, Wonder Boy.
Oh,
yeah,
I got you. I thought you meant then Usman. I was I'm not sure about that.
Man, this is a tough fight for Woodley here. I'm looking forward to this one, but
I mean, it is like I don't really care much about Covington, but it is interesting that he got passed up, like having had the interim belt. Like
the whole storyline, I really want to see these guys fight for a while now.
He's sort of in a similar situation as like Tony, kind of where Tony's got to be the next guy because he had the interim belt or whatever. But then they just pass him up, which so I mean they like Wood Covington either, which is kind of interesting. But I've also felt like with Woodley that they're almost playing a game where maybe more people will like him if Dana is like the ultimate enemy or being a bully to him basically. Like if Dana's just shitting on him a whole lot, maybe more people will rally behind Tyron. But yeah, so I don't know exactly why they would pass up Covington, but I guess Usman's a good fight. I'm not completely on the Usman hype train personally. Not that there is much of one. I don't think very many people are actually hyping him. Honestly,
I might be one of the only guys. I hype him up a little bit. I feel like I think he's really good, but
not. Yeah, but you might be like one of the only ones really. I mean, you don't even see. Yeah, you don't see very many people talking about Kamaru Usman, so it's kind of interesting because it's almost like they didn't want to give Woodley the money fight, even though calling Covington a money fight is probably a little bit of a stretch, but relative to what Usman is,
for sure. No, that's a good point.
So yeah, it's kind of it's definitely an interesting pick. I prefer this matchup more just from a stylistic perspective of like I feel like Usman's the better version of the two guys.
Yeah.
High output, wrestling IQ, all those things. But yeah.
And so that's why I don't really feel like it's hype because like you just said, you feel like Usman's kind of like a better version of the two. So if he's a better version of the champion, I mean,
yeah,
that's pretty good.
I guess hype is the wrong word. I
Maybe
don't
under
mean
the
a better.
radar.
I don't mean a better version of the champion. I mean a better version of Covington.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I agree with that too.
Yeah, but not. I don't think I think Woodley's a better version of that than both of them. You know what I mean? I think Woodley's a different thing with his movement and striking and ring, intelligence inside the octagon. Like he's a whole nother level.
Yeah, no, you're right. And I want to say this as well. This might be one of those fights where, like, Usman might lose the first one, but if he were to get a rematch in a couple fights, kind of like Henry Cejudo versus Demetrius Johnson, like, I think in a couple fights, he might be ready or something like that. I see Infamous MMA. I see Infamous MMA hopping on the panel. We got the family here, man. Maybe just missing, like, Arpit now. Infamous MMA, what's going on? Before we move to the next topic, I'll ask you your thoughts on Kamaru Usman versus Tyron Woodley.
What's up, Ford?
Good, bro. What's good, bro?
Yeah, I mean, hasn't welterweight just sucked recently? Like, it's just been trash to me, honestly.
On that promise? Make welterweight great again? Now he's nowhere to be seen?
I don't know. I just look at the top 15, and there's nobody in there that, like, interests me. I just see, like, I don't know. I think the UFC is just like, damn. Like, because like, what did Woodley and Till do for pay-per-view? Wasn't that shit terrible?
Yeah, it wasn't great, but that was a short notice. It wasn't like, you know what I'm saying? That was a fight they put together kind of on short.
Yeah, that
notice.
fight should have never happened in the first place.
Yeah,
that fight should have never happened. Like,
yeah, they did my boy dirty, man. He got
like I was on the Till hype train, but then I saw an interview where he said like his jiu-jitsu was terrible or whatever. Like, if you got, I'm like, you've been in Brazil for like most of your life, and all you done is strike over there. Like, oh my god, yo! Like, and I remember I made a video. I was like, damn, like I wanted to take it all back after I saw that shit. But yeah, as far as Woodley and Usman, that's probably the better fight than Covington and Woodley. But I kind of agree with Surname. I'd rather have seen Covington fight Usman first.
Yeah,
you know, I would rather have seen that fight. I think that fight would have been really fun, but I don't know. It's an interesting fight, Usman and Woodley. I feel like Woodley could just blow right by him, like real easy. Or if Usman is smart enough to just, like use non-committal strikes and just go dive in Woodley's legs. Because we seen Maya, like he didn't get the takedowns, but he did get to Woodley's legs like a lot of the times in that fight. But if Usman could do that too, Usman is smart enough to just, like use non-committal strikes. Yeah, I'm echoing right now.
I think that's forward, possibly. You got the sound going on in the background.
Yeah, I don't know if Usman's smart enough to beat Woodley right now. Because, like, yeah, Dennis or whatever. Anyway, yeah, I don't think. I don't know. I'm not sold on Usman, like his IQ yet to beat somebody like Woodley. Like like what Full Time was saying, like maybe in a couple of fights, this would have been a better fight. But yeah, I'm gonna have to stick with Woodley on this one.
Okay, all right. So now we'll move on to the main event, and I'll stick with you, Infamous MMA. I'll ask you, what are your thoughts on Jon Jones versus Anthony Smith fighting for the light heavyweight title? I like the fact that Jon Jones is getting right back to it. I actually think that's a good move. Try and put this whole USADA incident picogram as far back behind you as you can, as quick as you can. But what are your thoughts on the fight, Jon Jones versus Anthony Smith?
It's kind of interesting to see Jon Jones come back so quickly. It makes you wonder, like, why he would do that.
Little extra recovery?
No. I guess. I mean, or maybe no. all this not fighting. He needs some of that bread.
Yeah.
As far as the fight, I mean, I don't know what the fuck is Anthony Smith gonna do or what he thinks he's gonna do to beat Jon. Like, Anthony, like, that's like the most unintimidating name the guy could have. Anthony Smith.
Lionheart, bro. It's the nickname. He said,
oh my god.
He said, I don't know what he's gonna do. His name is just not intimidating enough to beat the GOAT.
I don't know. Like, is this fight even worth breaking down? Like, is it really worth me looking at this guy's fights, finding out what he's good at?
No, Anthony Smith is a beast.
Yeah, he's good. Like,
hell no.
Anthony Smith is a beast.
Yo,
Don't sleep on
hold on.
Lionheart.
Like, why does he have 8 knockout losses on his record? Like,
He learned on the job, bro. He got a
it
lot of
took
his
him.
training
It took
on
him
the
8
job.
times to learn how to not get knocked out.
But he's also got a lot of knockouts on his record.
All right, so what is he, a glass cannon? But
Well, he
I don't
also
know.
he's got that ability to come back in a fight. Like he's been
Yeah,
down
he
a couple
does.
rounds
He
and
does.
came back and knocked the dude out. But
For
he's got
sure, like a lot
knockout
of those stoppages came early in his career too.
Yeah,
It's always
he's
a weird
just
thing.
gotten
Like
a
I look
lot
at his
better.
record and I'm like, wow, like that
He's
makes
got a
you
lot
never
of-
want
lot
to
of
pick
fights,
against
too.
him. But
31
yeah.
and 13, I think, at like 28 years old or something around there. Like he's
What was
pretty
his
young.
last? What was his last win? Shogun?
No. He just
Volkan.
knocked out Volkan Ozdemir. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
No,
Volkan. Yeah.
Yeah, it was submission.
Oh, it was a submission win. Yeah, I'm tripping. He's been knocking
Yeah.
everybody else out. He got the submission, which showed he's even more well-rounded. He might submit Jon Jones. How about Vitor Belfort armbar?
Oh shit. Are you gonna bet on that?
No.
Oh, okay. I was gonna take you up on that whole time.
No.
What do you think? What do you think of Luke Rockhold calling out Jon Jones?
Hey,
Oh,
I'm
please.
down.
Yeah, I'm down for that fight.
But we got a full panel now. Stamina MC, Dennis Espinoza, and somebody with a picture, Rick. We even got Rick in here. What's going on, Rick?
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, I have a good evening. I'm having a great evening. Have a few beers.
Okay,
Just listening.
all right.
Just lurking.
Sounds good. All right, well, we got Dennis Espinoza in here. So we got Infamous MMA's thoughts on the main event. But just a quick rewind since the panel's full. Dennis Espinoza, I do want to get your thoughts as well on the co-main event, which is going to be Tyron Woodley versus Kamaru Usman for UFC 235.
I would rather see Colby first, just to see Colby get his butt kicked. I believe Dana is trying to find someone that will beat Woodley, and then he'll do the same thing to Woodley as he did Cyborg, Aldo, Stipe. He's totally unprofessional in expressing his bias and favoritism. He's a man without principle, where the buck always comes first. And that's what I have to say. I like Usman. I like Woodley. Dana's just hoping another miracle happens and Woodley gets beat.
Yeah, it's one more obstacle Woodley has to pass. But he was like, okay, we might have Colby. Well, wait. Let's throw Usman up there real fast, and then maybe Colby. But yeah, I agree, man. It's hard to not look at this and not see Dana White wanting Usman to win. But this is the thing. Tyron Woodley said this, to Usman, who was kind of getting hyped up about getting this opportunity. He was like, but don't get too excited, because even if you do get me out of here, you're next. So that's interesting. I want to hear your thoughts, though, Stamina MC. What are your thoughts on Kamaru Usman versus Tyron Woodley and the whole... I know you don't like Colby Covington, so you're looking forward to him to getting smashed. Him being able to kind of duck out of this fight. Well, I mean, he don't get a title shot, so that's on him. But he's sitting out here. He's pretty quiet right now.
It's kind of weird, yeah. It's definitely weird. I mean, I just on account of how much shit Colby talked and whatever else. Yeah, it seems to make sense that. Even just from a business perspective, Dana White doesn't need to like Woodley. He doesn't necessarily need to like Usman, and I don't really think that either of those things are true. But just purely from a business perspective, I just believe there is more interest, public interest, in people watching fucking Covington fight Woodley. I just don't see how they would walk away from the greatest potential earnings from any one single fight just so as to exercise some personal vendetta. It doesn't really make sense to me. Like I think Usman's cool, but I wasn't really like flying the flag for the guy to be like, yeah, boom, he's next, whatever else. I think he's good. I enjoyed his last fight, I guess, but it's not one that I'll go and watch again, for example. It didn't thrill me like that, you know what I mean? There's quite a few Woodley fights I'll go and watch again. I don't think I'll really watch any of Kamaru's fights again.
Really? Which Woodley fight would you watch again?
I'd watch the first Wonder Boy one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Till.
I'll watch that again.
Forward might not watch the
Lawler.
fight. The Lawler fight. Yeah, there's a couple. I mean,
yeah, all
Usman
of
had
his
one
quick
good
fights
fight.
are the fun ones to watch.
Sorry, Infamous, go again.
I said when Woodley finishes guy quick, that's when you want to watch his fight because it's only 50 seconds long.
Yeah,
I mean,
a good fight with Koscheck. But no, that's a good point. But no, to Stamina's point though, I wanted to say, as far as the business aspect, I actually think like even Kamaru Usman versus Covington at this point might have been a bigger fight, you know, than Woodley versus Usman. I don't feel like there's near as much heat there, just as Covington versus anybody.
No, absolutely. This is the one time when that which everybody asks of Dana to kind of like give the guy that's on the streak and has been kind of like doing things quote unquote the right way within a division, that's the guy that should get the shot. When we want him to do that, he doesn't fucking do it, like ever. But the one time when there is like some kind of interest, some kind of beef, artificial or otherwise, whereby you think, okay, yeah, these guys don't like each other. This is what this sport is for. We allow people to settle their differences under professional sanctioned environment. Where's that now? That's what we need right now, because Colby's managed to make enemies of both Usman and Woodley and is fighting neither of them. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and the UFC says they're frustrated with Colby Covington because they can't get him to fight, but I don't know.
I mean, how is he getting punished though?
Exactly, with the trip to the White House.
Doesn't he still have it? Doesn't he still have the interim title?
Yeah, like because when they strip you, they don't physically strip you. So he can go to the WWE tomorrow and be in the front row with his title, and they might say in UFC champion.
No, he still has it. Literally, like if you go on the website,
if he still has it on the website, that's asinine.
What?
I know he did until recently. I know he did until recently, but if he still does, I know about a month ago he still did. Like they were slacking on it, but if he still does,
he still has it
if
right
he
now.
still does, come on, man.
To this day.
Let me see.
To this day.
No.
It's saying number one on the screen, on my screen. It's saying number one.
Yeah, just not IC, just one. It's gone.
Maybe they changed it yesterday, but
if you click on his name,
you might be right there.
Oh, word.
If you click on his name.
Yeah, I'd never do that.
Number one interim title holder on his name. Get the fuck out of here. Woodley's about to fight his second fight, defending his belt. This motherfucker's visiting Trump, walking around as the champion, silent as a mouse when it's fight time. Like, this is my thing about Covington, man. After Woodley fought Till, okay, we get it. You had sinuses. Okay, sure. I think you're taking that out of Amanda Nunes' book, who legitimately had a sinus problem. I think Amanda Nunes' was legit. Colby Covington just seen she got shit for it and said, oh, I'll just use my sinuses to duck a fight and make even more people hate me.
Yeah, but Amanda Nunes pulled out the fight a day before the fight, but go ahead.
Well, yeah, but, I mean, if your sinuses fuck up a day before the fight and you can't breathe in the fight, what are you going to do? Go into the fight with fucked up sinuses? I mean, she did have a history of sinusitis before that as well. But what I was going to say, though, is Covington, after Woodley fought Till, because Covington wasn't ready, Covington started saying, well, if you would have just been ready to wait one more month, I would have been ready. So what the fuck? Did you get injured again? Are your sinuses still healing?
That's a lie. That's a lie.
I don't know where because I agree with everybody. Like, I'm fine with this fight. Woodley versus Usman, I'm fine with it. But it's just not, I would literally rather watch another interim title fight with Covington and Usman, if that's what it takes to get Covington in there. Because I would rather see Woodley versus Covington or even Usman versus Covington. The least pair that I want to see is the one that got made, as to what Stamina MC was saying. Like, all right, I'll watch Woodley versus Usman, but that's not the one we were really wanting to see. But we can move on now to the main. Yeah, go ahead.
You know, even though we're not getting the rivalry we want, are we kind of getting maybe the best rivalry of the move they promoted, right? Which is Woodley versus Dana. Because if they promote this as Dana trying to get Woodley out of there, then wouldn't that make for kind of like a better build up to the actual fight? Because Kamaru and Woodley, they don't have much of a rivalry, but then again, Woodley was calling him Kun Maru on Twitter, so maybe that kind of build up to something. But
Nah, he didn't call him Kun Maru. That was him.
Hey, look,
did he actually use the word Kun Maru?
No.
That was me. Sorry, that was just me.
Oh, that's funny.
You gotta cite Stamina on that.
I don't think they're that smart, honestly. I don't think they're smart enough to do what Ford just talked about, where they openly attack Woodley and explain that Kamaru is the ultimate weapon, you know, that could take him out or whatever. I just don't think they're clever enough to actually
Surname,
do it.
I gotta disagree with you on that one. Hold on. It's not that, like, they don't that's the point. They're fucking over Woodley. They don't want to make it known that they're fucking him over. Woodley has to be the one. Woodley has to be the one to be like, "Fuck you, Dana White." Even on my ass from when I first got this belt. I'm gonna beat everybody in welterweight's ass because they all trash compared to me.
Yeah, I'm just saying it would be clever to actually exploit that as a marketing tactic, because I think that worker against the boss mentality can kind of sell if you play it right, and it can also hype up Kamaru. But
they want to get rid of Woodley. Like they want to get this guy.
I think that's like some behind the scenes shit. You know what I'm saying? Like Dana White being the heel, kind of like to, but that's
But then they can't play out. The main event is Jon Jones versus Anthony Smith, and when have we seen a Jon Jones fight without a press conference? So ultimately, they always do a press conference. Woodley's going to be in the stage because he's a champion. Kamaru will be on the stage as well. Mm-hmm. I'm sure one of the reporters will be smart enough to ask him a question. Do you feel like they're trying to get you out of there because you should have had the Colby fight? And if Woodley's smart enough to go off at that point, he can cuss out Dana while he's going to be on the stage as well. That just builds up the fight even more. And that would actually make this a big fight. And obviously, Colby will be lurking in the shadows eventually. He will hopefully eventually get this shot. But then again, how do we don't know that Colby's going to maybe, let's say, fight Wonder Boy or RDA, okay, he's already fought RDA, or Till, or somebody else in the meantime. Or Ben Askren, yeah. I mean, hopefully that kind of doesn't happen, but then maybe it does. I don't know. But again, but to this fight, I mean, hopefully Woodley can actually play it off well, because he didn't really play it off well in one of his other fights, in the Wonder Boy fight, when he could have played it off for that exact same thing. Maybe in a Damian Maia fight. In a Till fight, he kind of got a bit feisty at the press conference. But again, I'm just trying to see a Woodley that's a bit more amped for these fights, because he can make a lot more money than what he is making if he actually just kind of build up his name a bit more. And I feel like this is a great opportunity to actually go and do that.
The thing is, when you go against the boss, you have to, from that point on, you have to win. Because that's the only 100%. Power you have left, is if you win. If you lose one time, he's done. Get the fuck out. Yeah, he's done.
Yeah,
100. He's done, man.
100. Yeah,
he's done. He might as well just leave the UFC after that, because they ain't giving him nothing after that.
That is, well, he said that as soon as I lose, I'm not going to get an immediate title rematch. No way. So he knows that.
Listen, as soon as he loses, he's never getting another title shot ever. They'll never let him back. They'll just pump him.
Woodley, if he goes right now,
kind of like Cyborg. Shoot. Yeah, it's going to be a situation.
He's an old man. He's like, what, 37? Like, he's not got many years left.
If Woodley loses a split decision, he's going to say something like, were you entertained by that fight? Like, he doesn't do good business. It's going to be something. It doesn't matter if it's a split decision. If he gets knocked out, he just got knocked out. Do you think he's getting a rematch? Like, it's going to be a reason.
If Woodley loses, he's going to one championship. That's it.
He's probably going to try to be a rapper or something.
Well, actually, yeah, man, that might throw off his business. I don't know how many studio, the TMZ studios, the rap studios. I don't know. I think he'll still be here. Maybe Bellator though. Bellator for sure. Rory McDonald, for serious. For Rory McDonald versus Woodley could happen in Bellator. Like if that happened, like that's long sighted because Woodley would have to lose. But that could happen. It could happen. And then I don't know the details on his contract. Does he have one fight left? Two? You know what I'm saying? So, but Woodley. But Bellator's a legit option. You think he can't get sponsorship? I think he would immediately become one of their biggest stars if he, especially if it was a bad exit, like he didn't get a rematch because Dana fucked him over, so Bellator signed him. He got to fight Rory McDonald. That would be crazy, I think.
Yeah, a good boss that has his own balls and not just balls from positional authority like Dana. Actually, he's going to like the fact that you challenge him. An insecure person with a lack of character like White's going to be so insecure that he feels attacked and feels that he has to get retribution. Don't care for Dana.
For sure.
All right, so with that being said, let's talk a little bit about the main event. And I'll kick it off with you, Dennis Espinosa. What are your thoughts on Jon Jones versus Anthony Smith and Jon Jones' quick turnaround?
Jones should win. I look at Anthony Smith as somebody that put in the work, deserves a shot, and deserves the money that comes with it. I don't see him beating Jones, but he's worked his butt off. He's got quite the career, an interesting resume of ups and downs. He's just earned a shot. He may not have a shot in winning, but he's earned that shot.
100%. Forward, I'll move to you with the same question. What are your thoughts on Jon Jones versus Anthony Smith, main event of UFC 235, and Jon Jones' quick turnaround?
Yeah, first of all, I kind of just got to go back to the 233, was it? Yeah, 232, where obviously it was an amazing performance by Jones against Gustafsson. I was rooting for him the entire time, and I was happy with him to win that fight, picogram or not. It was a good performance. And going into this fight, let's not sugarcoat it one bit. this would be the biggest upset in UFC history if Anthony Smith was to get a victory, because Ali's
I
he's
like
got very
this
good.
fight. I mean, for the hardcores maybe, but I mean, he's also got, you know, a really good size for a light heavyweight. Like, he's one of the other like 6'4" light heavyweights like Jon Jones. And yeah, just looking on paper, skill wise, it's in picogram and pictogram especially. I don't, you know, it's gonna be really hard for Anthony Smith in here, but I think I think it's a sellable fight. But no, you're probably still right. But I don't know about biggest upset in UFC history. Like, Anthony Smith has knocked out or finished all of his, like, 8 of his last 9 opponents, only lost 1 fight. I mean, he's been fucking so, and he's been looking good at light heavyweight with the recent submission win over Volkan Ozdemir. I think it's even more impressive. So,
I mean,
go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, all of what you said is facts, but I mean, at the same time, like, the biggest shock in UFC history was what? Matt Serra versus GSP 1? Maybe Holly Holm versus Ronda Rousey? I mean,
no, Anthony Matt Serra versus GSP.
Yeah, definitely Matt Serra versus GSP. People just like to use the Ronda Rousey example, although let's be real, we all know Ronda Rousey wasn't as good as people thought. But you can go back to this fight.
I don't know. Real quick. Cyborg only lasted 3 seconds longer than Rousey, so.
Oh, fuck off.
I mean, how good was Ronda Rousey really? All right, go ahead.
How long does Kayla Harrison last against Amanda Nunes?
Oh, she would last a lot longer than both of those.
Infamous, why
hold
did you do that? Why?
She's 155 pounds.
Don't they spar an American top team?
The whole stream's fucked now. Look what you've done. Look.
What did you just say? Did you just ask how long Kayla Harrison will last with Amanda Nunes? A lot longer. She's not going to come in. She's going to be, I would say, have a higher fight IQ than to try and come and bang with Amanda Nunes in the first 50 seconds. And if she gets in so much as a clinch, she could have Amanda Nunes on her ass for a second. And she only has to last, I mean, come on. She's going to last longer than 51 seconds.
Bro, if she lasts a minute, that makes her the second best female of all time.
And that's all I ever said she might be. So,
no, it doesn't.
You know, we're not even going to go there. We're going to save stamina and the panel. We'll go there.
They hating again. They hating.
You know what I'm saying?
But yeah, just to finish my point on the fight. I mean, I am actually looking forward to it. I think when the GOAT is fighting, you're always going to be looking forward to watching the GOAT fight, because
the GOAT of the pictogram.
Hey, look, pictogram or not, he proved he is the best fighter of all time by beating the guy who gave him the toughest fight.
What a picogram. Now or another day. Jon Jones is not my GOAT. Daniel Cormier is the GOAT, man.
Oh no! I mean, the guy who got knocked out by Jones can be your GOAT if you want.
Yeah,
I mean,
that never happened. That's a no contest. That got erased from history.
Hey, we all saw what happened. We all saw what happened in the first fight. Jones outclassed him for 5 rounds.
Oh, you mean the one before USADA? He probably had more than a picogram.
Jones is clearly the best fighter of all time. There's no debate in that. He clearly is. And when
for sure, debate.
The best fitter that hides under an octagon.
Jon Jones.
You guys can look for all
Daniel Cormier, and he looked like he did against OSP.
Picograms.
Jon Jones.
Did Jon Jones hide under an octagon from USADA? Yes or no?
Yes.
According to Chael Sonnen, but what? Is Chael Sonnen really a credible source at this point in time? Like, really? I mean, he's clearly got an
on this time.
Yes. Yeah, but about that, if fuckery's going on, Chael Sonnen.
Is Jon Jones a credible source? This dude lies more than
serial killer. Better.
This dude lies so goddamn much. It's ridiculous.
And clearly, I mean, come on. Look, we all know that he didn't take a drug test. He didn't forcibly cheat for the Gus fight. We all know that he didn't do that, right? We all know that there was a long standing.
I don't know, dude. Did you see the first fight?
How do you know? For
that's a fight you might need some picograms for. Okay, explain this. How come in the first fight, Gustafsson put him in the hospital? Second fight, he finishes him easy with the picograms in his system. And he's in better shape than he's... Okay, man. I don't know if this is the time for this debate, man. I don't want to do that to Jon Jones. We're talking about his upcoming fight. I think that's why he booked it so fast. He's trying to move past the picograms. He knows he ain't right. And by the way, he's in VADA and USADA right now. But... They said that this might be in the system forever, though. So I don't even know why that matters. They said,
dude, in the press, you know what he said in the post-fight press conference? He told people in the media, "You guys might have some metabolites in your system too." And some guy was like, "Oh, really?" And then you see, yeah, this is a scary epidemic here.
That's crazy. We all might have some metabolites, bro.
This dude used his entire post-fight press conference talking about picograms and metabolites, just trying to clear his name.
You would think fighters were just popping left and right if that was the case.
Another thing.
Right.
Another thing that a lot of people, with all the different scientific shit we've had to learn with this deal, another thing people are
Jon Jones make you go on a steroid fucking crash course.
Some people have forgotten that it was clomiphene and turinabol, right? So first it was clomiphene that was in his dick pill, and then it was turinabol that was out of the air or something, like, you know, that any of us could have gotten, like. So two times this mysterious tainted supplement situation has happened.
And
whether or not
better performance than your first performance.
Yeah, whether or not he's still the GOAT, I don't really care. Like it's ultimately, like, it's, to me, it's kind of an endless debate. Whether or not he'll beat Anthony is a different question, because, you know, I feel like he'll still beat. Here's what I would ask, I guess: is there any person alive who fights professionally for the UFC, I guess, who can beat Jon Jones?
Absolutely fucking not. There's nobody that can beat the greatest.
Yo, I'll tell you somebody who could beat Jon Jones. Hold on, I'll tell you somebody who could beat Jon Jones. I'll tell you right now.
Don't say it.
Deontay Wilder.
Oh,
no, I'll tell you somebody who truthfully can beat Jon Jones.
Inside 50 seconds, like, come on.
And that's himself. If he don't continue to cooperate, USADA's gonna snatch his motherfucker, pull his whole card any second. He's got to continue to cooperate. But no, on a serious tip, who can beat him? Daniel Cormier or Alexander Gustafsson. I mean, are we talking with picograms or without picograms? Are we talking level playing field or not level playing field? I tell you what, how about we give Daniel Cormier steroids and let's see what the fuck happens?
He'll still be fat even with steroids.
Okay, and let's see how strong he is and how Jon Jones looks.
Look, he's still going to get outsmarted in the fight, like we saw for both fights. Again, you asked the question, why is Jon Jones the greatest of all time? He's the greatest of all time. And the reason,
you're right.
Look, forward,
if they both have steroids, Jon Jones probably wins. But if they're both clean, Daniel Cormier wins, I think.
In that first fight,
but why? What makes you think that? Give me a logical.
Because he's been fighting clean for a lot longer. Therefore, he has the advantage fighting clean.
So let me just get this straight.
And that heavyweight. But
let me get this here. Your GOAT himself went on the Luke Thomas show and said that Jon Jones would still be a champion with or without pictograms or picograms or whatever you want to call it. Regardless of regardless of how you feel about Jon Jones, he's still one of the greatest of all time, and clearly, for my eyes, clearly the greatest of all time because of his fight IQ.
Being humble.
Being humble, but he also knows what I've got, and he also knows that Jon Jones is the best of all time. Reason why, not just because of his strength, his abilities, his skill set, or whatever, because of his fight IQ, his mentality. The fact that you go against your two greatest rivals, and in your second fights against both those guys, picogram or not, you knock them both out in 3 rounds. You half the time it takes to beat them in a 5-round grueling fight, you knock them out in 3 rounds. I mean, that's conclusive evidence to show that he's an amazing fighter.
He's an amazing fighter, no doubt about it. But there was literally
don't you talk about evidence now?
Exactly. There was conclusive evidence he was not a clean fighter during either one of those fights. So
I hear what you're saying.
He's a great fighter. I'm not saying he's a dog shit fighter without the picograms, but it's just pretty convenient that you needed the picograms when you were fighting your toughest fights. And so until we have 0 picogram, Jon Jones beat one of these guys, it's fair to question it. Yeah, he's still a great fighter. No ifs, ands, or buts. And I tell you what, if you gave Gustafsson and Cormier picograms, he probably wins. But I'm talking about level playing field. Who wins? I don't know. Because what do you think happened between the first fight? Jon Jones has been sitting out. I mean, I'm sure he's been training hard, but he hasn't even been fighting. The first fight, Gustafsson and Cormier put up better fights. So the second time they fight, he knocks them both out, but he doesn't have a clean system.
Well,
let me put this to you. Let me put this to you guys. Do you guys think the picograms really make? Okay, so let's say Jon Jones actually is cheating. Maybe you can argue that it makes a big difference in his preparation for his camp, which is why he never gets injured before the fight. Maybe he gets to do an extra 3 more rounds in which, and maybe why his cardio is better, right? But on fight night, when there's only a picogram, which let me say, just in case you guys didn't watch the press conference, is 50, which is 1 grain of salt.
Don't do that.
Oh my God!
Don't do that.
No, let him go. He's making his argument.
You guys know what a picogram obviously is at this point. We will watch the press conferences. Do you guys really think that on fight night makes that big of a difference? Clearly,
it's not about whether it makes a difference or not.
How many times? Wait.
It's not the point.
How many times is it divided?
Honestly, that's not the point. But for one, I'll debate that point, but that's not the point. Would anybody else be allowed to fight with picograms in their system? And to the fact of how much was in his system, that's how much was left potentially in his system. Yeah, you can't inhale a picogram. That's not how much you take. But that's potentially. Go ahead, Dennis.
I would like to know when he was tested prior to that, them discovering the picogram for the same stuff.
He's had the picogram since the last time he fell for Turnbull.
Originally, it was being reported that there was a multiple clean test in between the picograms. But then,
how many months? Because people don't understand the half-life of Turnbull, however you pronounce it. It's sort of interesting. So, if he was taking something and then it just wore off, if they test him more frequently and he's taking something, they'll catch him because the concentration will be higher right after he takes it, right? From what I've seen, it really hadn't given any benefit. There was no benefit in the second DC fight. So it's still interesting. I'm not going to be judging the jury until all the facts are in. So they need to test him more often, and hopefully with Vada, and the other group.
For sure. I mean, hopefully, leading up to this Anthony Smith fight, there will be 0 picograms from WADA, USADA. The half-life will finally be wore off, even though there's a potential could be in there forever. According to USADA, they don't know what's going on with this, so it could potentially be in there forever.
What I'm saying is, if you test him more often, they'll catch it. If he takes it again, it'll be fresher.
Yeah, so I mean, the levels should continue to go down and down, and even there's not much left.
They don't always go down and down. They can show up higher, and that's only because
higher. You're right. When you're cutting
it might pulse.
Yeah, it might pulse. It
all
might
the way
pulse.
up to. Who knows how high it could pulse?
Who knows how high it could pulse? Exactly. That's a good point. Who knows how high it could pulse? And who knows when it would pulse? It's probably going to pulse around fight camp, I would imagine. And if it pulse, I mean, come on.
I know it's actually scientifically proven it would heighten during fight camp just because of the exacerbated measurements that you go through with training camp. They do actually increase that.
Yeah, you
increase the chances of it.
Too. I think that draws it out. I think.
That as well.
Here's the thing then. Like I'm thinking then if we're gonna accept that pulsing is actually something that can happen, then surely the only thing that you can take from that is that the only difference between your system being in a state of pulsation or not means that there'll be different readings when tested. Ergo, that which can be classified as a picogram when not pulsing is only that which showed up in the test rather than that which is actually in your system. So you can by admitting that it can pulse, it says that there will be more than in your system, but only some of it will show up depending on how your body reacts to it. Yeah. So you do actually have way more than that. Just under certain conditions, it will only show up a certain amount.
I agree.
Yeah. So you could have been pulsed low when they cut it. Like that could have been a low pulse. You could, you've just been in a trough rather than in a peak. Yeah. But there's way more in there, but it just doesn't show up. They've just inadvertently admitted that there's loads more in there because if you haven't taken any more, where the fuck has it come from? Well, and they're saying it's all coming from the first test, but the first test was supposed to be a contaminated supplement. So, like the first time, they weren't admitting that it was steroids, or they're saying it wasn't steroids. So now it's really madness. And I think what really putting it together, I think the reason he's really allowed to fight that is the substantial assistance clause. It's like we got to say something, that we're allowing him to fight. But I really think that has a majority to do with it. If he wasn't using the substantial assistance clause, he would be suspended for 4 years probably right now. But with that being said, we have to see how it goes forward. Now is he expected to be clean, or now can it pulse? It's really we have to see how it goes. But I think that's kind of why this fight's coming so quick, to try and get us past this whole pulsing thing. But it's hard to kind of get past that. So yeah, man. Interesting situation going on with Jon Jones, but he's going to be fighting Anthony Smith, and I think that kind of matters. I think that kind of matters in this fight.
I forgot to even end my point on that as well.
Yeah, go ahead forward.
I was actually going to say that I'm still looking forward to the fight, regardless of whether it's an easy fight, which I see as for Jon Jones, because we're going to be seeing one of. Let me not just be an absolute in it. one of the greatest fighters of all time. I think I'm safe to say that, pictogram or not.
Yes, one of for sure.
Yes,
he's in his own list, you know, Jon Jones, in the pictogram list.
I think he's
the
on
only
the
one
list
there.
with everybody that's not, you know, trying to be the natty goat. I think he's the greatest fighter of all time. I think.
Yeah, he's better than CRT Vitor. I'll give you that.
Yeah, I think if you
Anderson
want,
Silva.
I think if you want to make you a list of natty goats, you just don't put him on there. But he's still one of the greatest fighters of all time because that really doesn't matter a lot in the grand scheme of things. It's just, is he the natty goat? Is he the current goat? You know, if not, you talk about Daniel Cormier, GSP, Demetrius Johnson, but he's up there. He's up there. Go ahead, Forbin.
Definitely up there.
Oh yeah, just to end, it is going to be a great fight, and also I'm looking forward to the build up to the fight. Obviously, Anthony says quite an intelligent guy. He's very articulate with his words, so maybe it'll be quite an interesting build up in terms of the back and forth with their words. Because I do imagine there'll be a press conference, so that should be interesting to see how that goes down.
All of his opponents have so much ammo every fight.
Oh yeah,
they can just say so much things. Like they can just recycle it. They could say some new shit. I don't know. Also, though, on that card, Ben Askren versus Robbie Lawler. But I want to get everyone's thoughts on the fight, though. Given Sheridan, what are your thoughts on Jon Jones versus Anthony Smith?
Oh man, I think I kind of said it right towards the beginning too. Is that I just don't see anybody really who can beat Jon Jones. You know, I feel like if he wanted to, let's say Anthony Smith got some shots in that hurt him. If he wanted to, I think he could just wrestle him and submit him. I think Jon Jones can pretty much win the fight however he wants to with Anthony Smith. At least that's how I imagine it going. But I guess I just don't see anybody around who can beat Jon Jones. I have a hard time imagining him getting beat right now.
That's a good point. And John Doe, your thoughts on the main event, Jon Jones versus Anthony Smith for the light heavyweight title?
Pretty much same thing. I mean, I don't really think that. I mean, it's nice to see Jon Jones fight somebody new, you know, something fresh.
Yeah.
So that's going to be exciting. But I feel like his IQ is better, his skill set is better, he's a little bit longer. But you know, Anthony Smith he's pretty long too. We'll see. I think it'll be good. I'm excited to see it, and I'm glad Jones is fighting so soon. Again, I'm kind of personally I like that, so I'm glad it's not. I thought it was going to be like 6 months or more, and I was kind of thinking that was lying. So I'm happy to see him fight soon. So
yeah, definitely can appreciate that.
Forward to that.
All right, Rick, we got the panel newcomer. What are your thoughts on the light heavyweight title fight coming up at UFC 235 between Jon Jones and Anthony Smith?
You know what? I've been thinking about it, and I've been thinking about what Jones said. He wants to fight 3 times this year, which, you know, I want to see him demolish Anthony Smith. I personally don't think it's going to be a close fight. My own opinion. I want to see him, for all this time that we've gone through, all this controversy, I personally think it's time to see Jones fight. 3 times this year he wants to fight. So get Anthony Smith out of the way, fight DC immediately, and then go down for that big money fight for whether or not it's going to be DC versus that Brock Lesnar fight or Jon Jones versus that, maybe both. Who gives a shit? It's going to be fun. Personally, I don't give a fuck about this pictogram shit or whatever you want to call it. I want to see him fight. I couldn't give a fuck about the whole controversy. I want to see Jon Jones fight. For the love of God, please test positive. Couldn't care if you've got a picogram in your system or not. Just test positive. I want to see you fight. Simple as that.
Wait, negative.
Negative, but either way.
Negative. Sorry.
Don't test positive. No.
Yo, nobody has faith
wine in my system.
It's all good. All right, man. No, that's hey, well put. And there's a lot of people I believe, you know, that I think echo that sentiment, man. Like, let him fight, and especially the pictogram. Who gives a shit? He's back, and he's active. Got to appreciate that. That's a lot of fighters. They take time with the belt. They, especially around the holidays, man. And if it's a tough matchup coming up, boy, they find injuries.
Don't let there be Ramadan.
Don't let it. Ramadan, tough matchup, whatever it is. People take time with the belt, man. We can go down the list. So he's being active. Got to appreciate that. It's going to make for a big UFC 235. There might be one hurdle that could come up actually here, man, because this fight's supposed to go down in Las Vegas. we got to see how Las Vegas is feeling after the UFC kind of up and moved that event on 1 week's notice. You know, like, because Nevada wanted time. They weren't going to let Jon Jones fight. They moved it to California on 1 week's notice. So there's going to be a hearing coming up, I believe, at the end of this month for Jon Jones. And that's going to decide whether or not they're going to let Jon Jones fight in Las Vegas for this card. And depending on how that
hearings
goes.
are always terrible. Like, they're just...
Yeah, it could shake everything up. This whole main event.
Yeah.
Or if they say no, then they could just move this card. I'm saying, oh, you guys don't want to let Jon Jones fight?
And the questions they be asking, it just be funny as hell, because they just be like putting Jon on the spot, acting like they're gonna do something, which they never do. And then you had Jon with that terrible ass lawyer. Like, that was, I don't know if you guys seen it, but that was pretty bad.
Yeah, no, at the hearing, that was, man, I remember that. But with that being said, Stamina, I want to go to you too for your thoughts on the main event. Jon Jones versus Anthony Smith. What are your thoughts?
Come back to me, bro. I'm doing a little bit of food right now. Come back to me.
Yes, sir. No problem. Infamous MMA will round it out with you. I want to ask you your thoughts on Jon Jones versus Anthony Smith. And then we can talk about is also Ben Askren versus Robbie Lawler that's also on this card. And if you think about it, Ben Askren versus Robbie Lawler is a welterweight fight between two top contenders. And clearly, Colby Covington seems to have lost his top spot. He's not fighting for the title. And if I'm the UFC, I'm not – fuck this dude. I'm not giving him a title shot next. What? You can't reward Colby Covington for winning the interim title and then ducking? Like, who does that? Like, that's borderline GDR shit. The first time, okay, sinus infection, but right now, you're awfully quiet, and you acted like you were ready to fight soon after Till, and Tyron Woodley should have just waited a little bit longer to fight you. Now you're not here again. You were supposed to be the interim champion, got that opportunity for nothing, and if you're Dana White, you got this guy a damn trip to see the president, so for what? How does he repay you? By not fighting? So unless Dana White's really friends with Colby Covington and he's kind of like helping him, like, hey, you don't want to fight both these guys, so let one of them take each other out. I don't know. Regardless, if you're the UFC, it seems like you should be pissed off at Covington at this point, and I don't think he should get the title fight next. So with that being said, Ben Askren versus Robbie Lawler, maybe one of these guys, if they make a statement, could shoot themselves up into a title conversation in this fight. Because with Covington, man, I mean, yeah, I want to see the fight, but if you're not going to fight, then I feel like you don't deserve the title fight. So what are your thoughts on that, infamous MMA? Ben Askren versus Robbie Lawler in the main event, Jon Jones versus Anthony Smith.
Yeah, so I think the Jon Jones versus Anthony Smith, I think it's going to be a cool fight for like a round. And then at the second round, I think Jon's going to figure him out and probably finish him, maybe the third. I mean, Smith, he usually does good in the beginning, but then he kind of dips in his output, and then like guys take advantage of that, but he comes back a lot. I don't think he's going to be able to make a comeback against Jon after Jon beats him up in the beginning. And as far as the Ben Askren versus Robbie Lawler, I don't know, man. I think that's going to be a pretty tough fight for Ben Askren. I mean, I think he is a little bit overrated as far as people saying that he's going to run through people like Robbie Lawler or anybody else. I don't think he run through anybody in that division as far as that top five. I think he's gonna have a pretty tough time in welterweight if he stays there. So yeah, I think he's gonna win because Robbie Lawler has deteriorated over the years. But I think it's gonna be like he'll win 3 rounds and Robbie win 2. It's gonna be a tough fight.
Yeah, man. Robbie Lawler, his last fight he fought was against Donald Cerrone, I believe. But yeah, he's taking a little time off, so that definitely might help, I think, Ben Askren in this fight. But Ben Askren, he's got a path to victory. But you know, the thing about his path to victory, which is clearly going to be his wrestling, I feel like with Tyron Woodley, that wasn't. I mean, a lot of people thought Robbie Lawler would beat Tyron Woodley, and he's not only a great wrestler, he's also very powerful, dangerous, got that dangerous right hand. So he was able to use that. Ben Askren doesn't necessarily have that. I don't see him flatlining Robbie Lawler. So I think he's going to have to win a decision or a submission. And yeah, it'll be tough, but he can do it because, like you said, Robbie Lawler hasn't been super active. He is a little older, so he can definitely do it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see how Ben Askren looks here. Regardless, he's not no Demetrius Johnson. I'll tell you that much.
Dude, Ben Askren is slow as shit too. Like like, don't worry. Like, if he gets his hand on you, like, you're in trouble. Like, he has a very, very good wrestling, but getting there is a problem for him. Like, if you actually watched his fights, I mean, he fought some Luis. You could go on YouTube and watch. Yep. Oh my lord, this dude was throwing him around like, just like wow, that was terrible.
He eats a lot of punches to get his hands on you. Like he trusts his chin or trusts his wrestling and his chin basically, and so somebody's gonna crack him. It's just inevitable.
Like, don't get me wrong, I feel like his wrestling's probably the best in the UFC, but
yeah,
like he's not like Khabib. Like Khabib, the difference, like he's not Khabib at all. Like Khabib's actually like quick and like he could close the distance real fast, and he has good striking, you know, good
and
reactions and everything, and movement. You know, like he showed Conor he can move around too. Like he's not a flat-footed wrestler. Like Askren's pretty flat-footed, slow. You know, he's gonna have trouble in this welterweight. Like he's gonna win, but it's gonna be tough for him. He's gonna eat a lot of punches, and it's not gonna be easy at all. He's gonna be in a rude awakening, I think.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, I'll ask you next, given your name. What are your thoughts on Ben Askren coming to the UFC and taking on Robbie Lawler in his debut?
Yeah, I pretty much agree with a lot of what people are saying. I think Ben Askren wrestling is phenomenal, and if he's not going to do anything else, you know exactly what he's going to do. So the question is, how will Lawler look? What will he try to do? I guess, but I don't think Lawler has what it takes. I think it'll be probably a couple more fights before we see Askren get thrown to somebody who has the power to capitalize. But yeah, I guess that's kind of my thoughts. Is once somebody with enough power, I guess maybe it's just Woodley that I feel like will murk him. I know they won't fight.
Yeah.
Usman will beat him too, I think.
Usman, I don't know. I'd have to see it. I don't think he would.
That'd be a good fight.
Yeah, Usman might be more adapted to MMA as far as all-around game. So I could maybe see it, but I feel like Askren's wrestling is better than Usman's. So
yeah, it is, but it's like everything else though is that's the thing that kills me with Askren. It's like he just does.
Yeah.
He just doesn't. He's not very coordinated, and he's not like he does things in wrestling that nobody else really does. Like as far as his rolling, like he's a very interesting, unorthodox but very high level wrestler. Like that's his his bread and butter. But
and for me, I know Ben Askren is, for me, I mean, I haven't watched a lot of his fights and won championship, but I know he's a great wrestler. I mean, just you hear everyone talking about him, wrestlers, high level wrestlers. He trains with Tyron Woodley, and so I know he's a phenomenal wrestler. But for me, it's just I still want to see how he's going to look against the highest level competition, because he's been over there and won championship, and they're not known for really, probably can't name any of won championships welterweights, aside from Brandon Vera, who I think is the champion now with Ben Askren gone. But even there's really just not a lot of highest level competition for Ben Askren over there. So I want to see how he does against these guys. So that's really it for me. But I mean, a lot of the top welterweights in the world are great wrestlers. So whether it's Covington, whether it's Usman, and Woodley, who's his teammate, so he won't fight, but they're all still good fights, I think. So yeah, that's interesting.
I agree, because I think it'll be interesting to see if. I mean, I think that what you'll see is that Askren is on a different level. Like, yeah, they're good wrestlers, but anytime it goes into a scramble, and that's what Askren does better than any of them, is create scrambles. So he's gonna come out on top of those scrambles 90-something% of the time. So that's where I just think he's a nightmare for those wrestlers, for Kamaru Usman. Like, I don't see how Usman can have a game plan that's going to work unless he just plans on counter wrestling and striking the whole time. Then he'd have a shot, I think. But because he does throw down on standing up. His last few fights, I was pretty impressed with Usman's offense on the feet before he went into his takedown series stuff. But
all right,
I do kind of wish he'd get into more ground and pound, or at least his ground and pound was more effective. But it's just me.
Okay, well, that was a great breakdown on this fight from Given Surname and Infamous Forward. You have any thoughts to add to Ben Askren versus Robbie Lawler fighting at welterweight in Ben Askren's welterweight debut?
Yeah, so I echo most of the same sentiments that Infamous said on the topic. I think there's a bit of a weird fan part of the MMA fan base which really rate Askren very highly. Now I'm not sure some of them just do it just to sound really niche, or some of them actually really see something that I'm just not seeing in Askren's fights. Because whilst he's an amazing wrestler, I don't see an amazing MMA fighter when I look at it. Because when people are hyping up, obviously Khabib coming up, yeah, you can see why he was undefeated and he hadn't lost even a single round. But with Askren, sorry, I got a bit of a tickly throat. But with Askren, like, I don't really see it in terms of the stand-up, because let's say he doesn't get the fight to the ground, and he's supposed to stand over the top 10 strikers in the fighters in the welterweight division. Who does he beat? Who does he even last 3 rounds with in the top 10 of the welterweight division? I think he gets knocked out by pretty much everybody other than maybe Damian Maia. I don't think his stand-up's anywhere near as good. I don't think he's very elite. I don't think he's very effective on the feet. And yes, I probably do see him to beat Lawler, but again, Lawler's takedown defense is no joke. I think it is good, and he could give Askren a couple of problems, but I just think that maybe 3 rounds just isn't enough rounds for Lawler to really get enough work done for him to win the fight. So I do pick Askren to win the fight, but I'm not really impressed by him generally as a fighter. But again, if he can close the distance on you and get you to the floor, then I do think he can beat a lot of guys. But to answer him, given Surname's point earlier, I don't think he beat Usman. Again, I'm a bit biased to Usman, but I think Usman beats him comfortably. And even someone like Darren Till, who, again, Woodley was very hard to take down until he got the knockdown with the right hand. I think even a Darren Till gives Askren a lot of problems, because I don't think he takes him down. And then if he doesn't get the takedown, then, boy, what's going to happen on the feet? He's going to get absolutely destroyed. So, again, I don't see too much from Askren in terms of winning, or in terms of earning a title shot. Obviously, I don't think he's going to even win a title shot, because Woodley is obviously he's coaching Woodley. So we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, I think he's going to beat Lawler, but I don't see what else he's going to be able to do in terms of beating top 5 guys in the welterweight division.
All right. Well, salute to Blaze One Sports and Tay Brown in the chat. I seen someone asking, I think it might have been Cam Murphy, the date for UFC 235, and it's going to be March 2nd, 2019, which is 1 week before UFC Wichita. I'm going to be in that thing live. Can't wait. But I'll go to you next, Dennis Espinosa, and I think we've broke this fight down pretty good, but if you have anything you want to add to Ben Askren versus Robbie Lawler, you can. But one of the fights I'm really looking forward to is Zabit Magomedsharipov versus Jeremy Stephens. That,
Yeah, that's the fucking
I
fight.
think I might like Zabit Magomedsharipov versus Jeremy Stephens more than I liked the Yair fight. This is
that's way better.
This fight is amazing. So Dennis Espinosa, what are your thoughts on Zabit versus Jeremy Stephens and Ben Askren versus Robbie Lawler at UFC 235?
Lawler Askren, that's a fair test for Askren coming in. Robbie's on the slide. His last loss was actually to Dos Anjos, who's on the slide as well. So it's a fair test to see what Askren's really made of. You know, you have a hype. You can only get so much from video. You got to see him against higher level fighters. As far as the other fight, Jeremy's tough as hell. It'll be interesting to see what he has left from being beaten by Aldo. And how do you say that other guy's name?
Zabit Magomedsharipov.
He's the tall guy with the hair, right?
Yeah, tall guy, Abe Lincoln.
Tall guy over there. Yeah, that's an interesting matchup as well. It'll be fun to watch, basically. I've seen both of them, but I really don't have a super opinion on either one of them other than Jeremy. He's tough. He's been around for a long time. Time ultimately catches up with everybody.
Yeah, Jeremy Stephens, if I'm not mistaken, it was a first round, it was a body shot that Jose Aldo knocked him out with, correct?
Yeah, the liver shot.
Okay, yeah. All right, Forward, I'm going to come back to you on this one. What are your thoughts on Zabit versus Jeremy Stephens?
Yeah, I fucking love this fight, man. I mean, other than the style bender, I just something else. So I have something else in my mind. Other than was about to say a girl's name, which I shouldn't even mention. Anyway, look, other than the, she's not gonna be listening to this, so it's fine. But other than the stuff,
You'd be surprised. No, I'm just kidding.
hey, you never know. We got
I'm just
40,000
kidding.
people watching right now, so I mean, hey, you never know. But yeah, other than that fight, the silver fight, that I mean, I'm looking forward to this fight the most in 2019 for what's been booked so far, because I mean, it's gonna be a great fight because Stevens, first and foremost, he always comes, he's always game, he's always ready to come and bring the fight, and also he's gonna have a bit of a chip on his shoulder with the fact that he got knocked out in the first round by a body shot, so he's gonna be coming to really bring the action. I don't think he's gonna be scared of the takedown, like let's say Yair would have been against Zabit. So yeah, I'm always looking forward to seeing Zabit in action because I think he's a prodigy. I think he's a future champion in waiting. So yeah, this is gonna be a great fight, and I can't wait.
All right. Well, yeah, man, I agree. I think this is a good step up for Zabit, man. He's been the talk of the town. We've seen some great fights, but this is actually a top-ranked fighter who's been around for a while and a veteran. So he kind of checks off 2 boxes for Zabit. So I love this fight for Zabit, the style matchup. What about you, Given Surname? What are your thoughts on Zabit versus Jeremy Stevens and Ben Askren? Well, you already said Ben Askren versus Robbie Lawler. Just Zabit versus Jeremy Stevens.
Yeah, so I think Jeremy Stevens, it's a pretty tough matchup for him. I mean, like even the rankings are clearly not what you want to look at. Like I'll be interested. This might be one you want to bet on because Jeremy Stevens, I think, length of Zabit and the striking range specifically. Like I just think he's gonna get hurt from range and not be able to get in to land his body stuff without, or to land his closer range shots without getting into clinches that he's not going to want to be in. So that's kind of my thought. I just feel like the range of Zabit, it's a terrible matchup for Stevens. So kind of sucks for him coming off of, like you said, a loss to a champ. So
yeah, man, I know MMA from the Heartland. He's going to be watching this one for sure. John Doe, what are your thoughts on Zabit Magomed versus Jeremy Stevens, and also Ben Askren versus Robbie Lawler and Ben Askren's UFC debut?
I think I really want Robbie to win, but we'll see. I think this is a good test to see where Askren really is in the totem pole. I think this is definitely more of a test for Askren than it is for Robbie Lawler. You know, he's kind of accomplished, you know, everything you try to accomplish in the UFC. He's been the champ. I think he's kind of just looking for nice, good, big. Like I think this will be a big fight. It's like a nice big card. Seems like it. You never know. Sometimes they don't do shit for pay-per-view, but whatever. To me, it's a big fight. And then Zabit versus Jeremy. That's really exciting. It's another thing to see where Zabit is on the totem pole. Man, dude, he's fun to watch. I don't know how that's gonna go. I mean, is Jeremy gonna try to walk through him kind of like Kyle did, like, and get tagged up? I don't know, but I think that could be a really exciting fight either way. I think Zabit get it. I think he could probably even submit him somehow. So
yeah, in his last fight, he got that like cow slicer win, same night as Aljamain Sterling. So yeah, man, Zabit's got a lot of tricks up his sleeve. I'll move to you next, Rick. I'll ask your thoughts on Ben Askren versus Robbie Lawler, and also Zabit Magomed versus Jeremy Stevens.
Sure thing. Just before I mentioned that, I have to say Stamina's eyes looks like he's bang on the Mandy. If anyone in there, it's made me giggle all night. It's freaking me out a little bit. But the Zabit versus Jeremy Stevens fight, I have to say, I have to click off Stamina's face to start getting a bit serious.
Yeah.
But the Zabit fight, I have to say, it's a test for both of them because it's a stylistic fight. You've got to really understand that, you know, anyone can win at this point. Will Zabit get knocked out? Because let's be real. Zabit's taken the biggest shots in the UFC in his division, but really, will he take Jeremy Stevens' shots? That's the question. But let's all be real. We've all seen Zabit fight. he's a very interesting wrestler. Like, he reminds me of a Khabib, Habib, or however you want to say his name. Very, very interesting fight. I love watching him. To move on to the
Askren versus Lawler.
Lawler, yeah, exactly the same thing. Some different views that I've heard tonight is, I have to say, I agree with what Forward's analysis of that. I have to agree. Where personally, I think the IQ of Askren will make him win that fight. I think, of course, both of them can win this fight, but my opinion has to be Askren wins by basically taking him down and beating him on the ground. I think it takes. I think Forward's talking about Till as well. In the stand-up, I think Robbie Lawler's got the same way of winning through the stand-up, but Askren's very good in the fight IQ. I think the only way Askren's going to win, not through stand-up, it's through fight IQ. That's my full analysis on that.
Yeah, that would be fun if Ben Askren did come in there, though, and brawl a little bit with Robbie Lawler, or if Robbie Lawler was able to stuff a couple takedowns and keep it standing. That would be fun. Stamina, I'll move to you. Your thoughts on Zabit Magomedsharipov versus Jeremy Stephens, and any thoughts on Askren versus Lawler? Any more?
The Magomedsharipov-Stephens thing, I'm very interested in, just as everybody else would be, just because there are so many variables and so many things that can potentially come to light within the context of those 15 minutes. I don't have a favorite. I don't think. I feel like on paper, Zabit looks more like the guy, but in the way that Jeremy Stephens, okay, he's not like a technically proficient fighter per se, but he's just more of like, he does the basics and he does them to a high standard, and that's what wins in fights. So I don't know if the bells and whistles that Zabit is into will necessarily work out well for him against a guy that's just fundamentally sound. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't have a favorite. I just think it's just going to be really, really cool. You know, Zabit. Wow.
Somebody's microphone going crazy. Let me see.
I think that's their name.
I was panicking. I thought it was my rig. I was like, what the fuck is that?
Okay, yeah, give me your name. Hit the mute button. There we go. Yeah, go ahead, Stamina.
God, I kind of lost my thread a little bit.
Yeah, you were saying on the Zabit Stephens fight how you thought Stephens, it's pretty much even for you, because Stephens, he's fundamentally sound. Zabit, he's still got a lot to prove, so it's really even. I mean, and I agree with that. And I don't know if you were moving on to Askren versus Lawler next, or if you were still.
I will do, just because I completely lost my.
Okay.
Even with the Askren Lawler thing, Lawler is slightly before my time. Although I've watched some highlight reels of his. Askren, for not being in the UFC and me being semi fucking casual, I don't know Askren's body of work. I don't know what he's capable of. I don't know what he's done. I don't know who he's fought. Originally,
great wrestler, pretty much.
Well, yeah, this is what I'm picking up. But the only way that I knew about him before this transfer type thing was just his association with Woodley. I didn't know anything about him of his own merits. You know what I mean? So it sounds like, again, on paper, it sounds like Lawler's really got the advantage in there because there's more ways for him to win. However, that which makes Askren a competent fighter at all is vastly superior to most people that compete, never mind just Lawler. So it's another one of those coin toss type things. On paper, we all understand that as long as Lawler can keep it standing, it looks like it's going to be good for him. But how plausible is it for him to be able to keep it standing?
Mm-hmm.
It's just one of those wait and see ones.
Yeah, and that's the same with, to Forward's point, and to Rick's point about Darren Till. I mean, yeah, if they keep it standing, it'd be a great night for them. But will they be able to keep it standing? I'll go to you, Infamous MMA, though. I want to hear your thoughts on Zabit Magomedsharipov versus Jeremy Stephens.
Yeah, that's like the perfect step of fight for Zabit. Like, Jeremy Stephens is no joke. Like, Jeremy Stephens, he's a fighter. Like, he has really good tools. He has a really good power on his hands, a really good low kick, which is something we haven't seen Zabit deal with. I think to beat a guy like Zabit, you need to come in with a good game plan. And I think if Stephens does come in with a good game plan, I think he does have a chance to beat Zabit. But Zabit, he's another guy who has like Stevens. He's kind of he's the low kick, a good right hand, good left hook. But Zabit, he has so many different skills. Like as far as a stand up, you could throw pretty much any technique you could think of, and then. The thing that makes you want to pick Zabit, he always has that grappling to go back to if anything were to go wrong, like if he got hurt or whatever. And like you can't really, I don't really see like Jeremy, being able to hang with him grappling wise. So he might, I think Jeremy would give him a tough time at certain points of the fight, and I think Zabit would. I think Zabit will figure him out and get the decision. But I think it could be a pretty interesting fight. I think Stevens does have a chance to upset him though. So maybe you want to put some money on Stevens.
Okay, well, we're about to have some fun, guys. I was gonna go to our closing thoughts after we talked about those fights there, but we've got one more topic to talk about. Breaking news: Conor McGregor on Twitter 23 minutes ago says, "I wish to go to Tokyo to face Tenshin Nasukawa in a mixed martial arts exhibition bout before the summer. Please arrange this instant. Yours sincerely, the champ." He tweeted again 10 minutes later and said, "I'm the real Django, no holds barred."
Wait, was he serious?
Yeah.
What is this? WWF? What's going on? What's going on with tension? Is he starting his own pro wrestling career? Like,
oh my god,
what's going on here?
I can't
Are they paying people to beat?
Sorry, why is
Tenshin's
everyone
ass
trying to
now?
beat up on a 20-year-old kid like this?
I don't believe
Dude, dude.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I don't want to see that.
Oh my god, dude. When he got hit by Floyd, it looked like he got shot out of a cannon. When Floyd hit him,
You're right. You're so right.
I thought, honestly, I thought it was fake at first, but maybe I think he's just that small. Like I don't think we realized how small this kid is. Man.
Yeah, that's funny. You said
120
he shot
pounds,
out of a cannon. That's hilarious. He did
That's
spring.
what you treat when you do too much proper.
Yeah, that's what this is coming from for sure. MMA Buds. Make sure you guys check his channel out too, and Infamous MMA, also. But he came to the chat and he said, "Someone take Conor McGregor's phone. He's drunk, drinking too much proper 12." He's talking about fighting Tenshin Nasukawa. Now, so I pulled it up, and the funny thing is, he's like, because Tenshin was supposed to be a kickboxer, right? So. Conor wants to fight him in MMA. Don't do that to this kid. That's not even fair. Like, we should a boxer.
Why fight him? I feel like if they did fight in MMA, I feel like Conor would stand with him anyway.
Conor should do a kickboxing. Even then, he's gonna kick him across the head. And I mean, I think
Conor just wants the MMA gloves, maybe.
Yeah,
he wants that rising money. Huh?
That rising money, that exhibition money, that Floyd walkthrough money. $9 million walkthrough, 9 minutes for $9 million.
I mean, let's be real. It's probably going to be there's obviously going to be a fixed show, just like Floyd Mayweather.
And let's be realer. It's a winnable fight for Conor McGregor. He needs one of those.
If it's not fixed or not, I think it's
more than that.
Nah, I think Conor runs over this little boy.
No, exactly. Conor needs this. Get back his mode. Get his confidence back. This could be a confidence booster for Conor. Get him back, ready to come back to the UFC.
I don't want to see the fight though.
Do you genuinely think that's a good idea for full time? Like, do you genuinely think this?
It's not a good idea.
I mean, if you want to get Conor back sooner rather than later, is it a good idea for Conor to go in there and boost his confidence against this kid, and then think it's gonna? You take that into the UFC octagon?
Full
No,
time. There's other people he could fight to boost his confidence. He doesn't have to beat up some 20-year-old little Asian boy.
But it would be fun. If I'll just say this: if I woke up tomorrow and there was a YouTube video that fucking was 9 minutes long and it said Conor McGregor versus Tenshin Nasukawa full fight, I would click it.
Yeah, of course, but
that's how I watched the Floyd one.
Oh Lord.
Okay, well, Conor said he's the real Django, no holds barred. Do any of you take this serious? If so, say aye. If not, we'll move to closing thoughts.
One more thing.
No, it can't be. I mean, just for one thing, just to end on this. I mean, an exhibition fight for Floyd doing it against Tenshin made sense because he's a fighter past his prime. Conor is bang in his prime years. He's only 31 years of age. You can't be taking exhibition fights during your prime. That just makes no logical sense. So he's got to get back in there. Maybe get a tune-up fight if you want against the names I mentioned earlier, an Edgar, maybe even a Jeremy Stevens, Aldo, anybody you want in that 45-pound division or 55-pound division. Anybody you want. but not a flipping a fight against a 20-year-old kickboxing prodigy.
Can you
Like,
argue that
no.
I would say that the Floyd Mayweather fight was an exhibition fight, but it was Floyd. But I mean, if it's a different arena, if it's like a kickboxing fight, like if Cyborg went to boxing, that's an exhibition fight. Well, it's a little different because you'd be fighting pro. But no, I hear what you're saying. I mean, sure. I mean, it could happen. But yeah, I'm not looking forward to it. I'm not dying to see it or anything. It's just interesting that Conor's calling him out after he fought Floyd. But yeah, he doesn't want that smoke with Conor.
Plus, he said the summer, I think. I mean, if you wanted to do
what do you
something
think
like
about
that,
this
you
though,
do it,
Forward?
Like,
What if it was
Yeah.
what if it was Tenshin's arena? He's a kickboxer. What if it was not MMA? It was not boxing. What if it was kickboxing? Do you think Tenshin has a chance?
No, because he's a 20-year-old kid. I mean,
he's a kickboxer.
He's small as hell.
He caught Floyd with a decent counter left, and Floyd was like, "Okay, is that what you do? Yeah." He just put his hands up and said, "I'm gonna walk forward and just knock you out."
Okay, so to switch it to boxing real quick, if Conor fought a boxer that was 20 years old but was still a professional boxer, do you think Conor would win the boxing match, or do you think even that boxer would beat Conor?
Is Conor fighting a 5 foot I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, with that reach, he's gonna have in him the weight. He's gonna have in him the power. He's gonna have in him.
Is this guy actually like 5'2" or what's up? I don't know his tell of the tape. I mean, if it's just a huge size
disadvantage.
disadvantage.
Remember just how small Japanese people are. Like,
well, I mean,
seriously,
all the Japanese people I know are like Japanese American, and yeah, their mom's pretty small. But you know, I mean, I haven't met as many. I don't know. Are they all? Isn't that racist to assume all of them are small? I don't know.
No. I've been to Japan a bunch of times, and if anyone in Japan is tall, they are weird. Like Japanese people,
they're foreign.
are just small. They just are. They're just genetically predisposed to be of that stature. That's just what it is. Not to say it never happens, but it's not that common.
Okay. Well, maybe I figured maybe the professional athletes
could beat Paulie Malignaggi.
Okay.
He's supposed to be some boxer.
That's the fight I would actually not mind seeing, and it goes to the point we shouldn't be having exhibition fights when you're during your peak. But then
use Paulie as an exhibition.
Yeah, then again, it is Conor McGregor, so like if anyone's gonna do it, it's gonna be Conor. But against Tenshin, that doesn't make sense.
All right, guys. Well, with that being said, that was fun. I want to move to our closing thoughts, and I'm going to start from left to right. So we're going to start with Dennis Espinoza. Closing thoughts on anything MMA or Tenshin Nasukawa, I suppose. Any closing thoughts on your mind?
Actually, I have a question for you.
Yep.
And I know you probably addressed this in one of your videos already. Just haven't seen your response. What do you think of Amanda's character by saying that you're going to try to make Cyborg wait 2 years?
I think, I don't know why she would do that, because I think she's got a good chance in the rematch. I think it makes her look like she's kind of ducking the rematch. But I also, this is my original thoughts. I think it's kind of getting taken out of context. Because I think the point she was trying to make is, well, Cyborg said she wants to stay active if I'm not ready to fight. Well, what she's essentially saying is I'm not ready to fight, so let's see if she fights somebody else. I think she wants to see if Cyborg is going to stay active if she doesn't get an immediate rematch. But yeah, I think if she's just really denying Cyborg the immediate rematch personally, I mean, I think she should let the UFC do that. Dana White already seems like you don't want to give Cyborg the rematch. Why come out and publicly say you don't want the rematch? You know, so I think she could just have stayed quiet and would have been a lot better off than saying that whole 2-year thing. But yeah, so I mean, I don't really know as much her goal is with that. But yeah, I mean, I think Amanda Nunes is the greatest female fighter of all time, so I don't think she has any reason to duck a rematch with Cyborg unless she just wants to run off into the sunset or see Cyborg earn the rematch. Maybe she took it personal the whole lead up to the fight, the crayonch, and, you know, her kind of getting sold out as a crayonch in a way, like maybe she felt like that was unfair, and so it could have something to do with that. So yeah, that's my thoughts. I mean, I think she could have just let Dana White deny the rematch.
Yeah, Dana White's going to do what he's going to do, and I think your last observation is more likely right. It's just being vindictive and trying to rub Cyborg's face in it.
Yeah.
Basically.
Okay. All right. Well, Forward, I'll move to your closing thoughts next.
Yeah. Well, the MMA legend that is Chael P. Sonnen, not really so famously said that we need to give fighters credit for taking the tough fights when they give them to them, and I guess we are pretty spoiled in that sense in MMA because they generally always take the tough fights. But the fight I'm looking at in particular is Actually, Francis Ngannou versus Cain Velasquez. I mean, that is a crazy fight. And the fact that Cain's taking this fight with off of what would be, what, 2-3 year layoff since the Travis Brown fight. I mean, it's amazing to see that he's coming up against someone he's going to be as devastating as possible in the first round, which is Francis Ngannou. So I'm looking forward to that fight. It's kind of crazy to think that Cain could be coming back from a 3 year layoff, and we can maybe only see him in there for 20 seconds because, again, with someone like Ngannou, you can literally just end the fight with one punch. So it's fascinating to see that fight. I can't wait to see it. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Francis Ngannou. I do have hopes in the future that there can maybe be an all African card where they maybe hosted, let's say maybe in South Africa, and there's all the African champions and maybe number one contenders in there, like Ngannou, Usman, obviously Adesanya, Sadiq Youssef, Youssef, those guys. So, I mean, that'll be obviously a great thing to happen. So I am rooting for Ngannou in that sense, but at the same time, if there's anybody who would be a fascinating matchup and also a fascinating storyline to face Jon Jones, it would be Cain Velasquez. So maybe in future, that's going to be the big fight that we do see in 2019. Maybe Jon Jones versus Cain Velasquez at 2019, and at heavyweight in 2019. I think that could be the biggest fight in UFC
UFC
this
funny.
year.
I was going to ask you about that. I was going to say that with Cain Velasquez's return. What do you think about Jon Jones versus Cain Velasquez?
I think that would be a great fight, and I would love to see it. And maybe he's the one person you would kind of think would be great. Could be a great matchup for Jon in that sense. And also another funny aspect to be, wouldn't it be great if we could see Jon face Cody, aka obviously Luke Rockhold was calling him out just yesterday.
Yeah, Luke's at light heavyweight. Fight Luke before you move up to heavyweight.
Yeah, exactly. So imagine Jon Jones runs the gauntlet of beating Luke.
That would be fucking crazy.
He would literally shut down the gym by himself. I mean, that would be hilarious. And then also, funnily enough, in that same sense, Cormier fight Yoel Romero? I mean, that's the part we all wanted to see. So, yeah, some interesting matches that could potentially happen for 2019. So, man, it's a great time to be an MMA fan, and I can't wait. And also, just to say, it's glad to be on the panel again. Obviously, great to talk to you guys as usual. And I can't wait for the next one, guys.
All right, man. I hear that. All right, we'll move to Giving Sure Name next. What are your closing thoughts? Anything UFC, MMA, or anything? And you're muted right now, by the way.
I like the idea of having Jon Jones fight all of AKA. That's pretty good. I don't really have any closing thoughts there. I think I had something, but then I got distracted a little bit in my mind. But I appreciate you for having us on, and good luck to you on your endeavors.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thanks for coming on. We'll move to you next, John. What are your closing thoughts? Anything UFC, MMA, Bellator, Tenshin Nasukawa?
Did you guys talk about or what do you think about TJ wanting to go to 145 and fight Max?
We haven't talked about. No, we didn't talk about that today on today's panel, but he definitely has the potential to, I think, be the first champ. At least the only person to challenge for 3 titles actively, because Daniel Cormier, unless he's cut into welterweight, he can't do that, or middleweight. I mean, so TJ, if he can beat TJ, he'll have 2 belts. Then he could try and go up to featherweight, and he's got the team and I think the right nutritionist and science and the way he's doing it. I think it would be the right way to go up to 145 and try and challenge for that title. That would be ludicrous.
Yeah.
I think that would be crazy. I don't know, man. Can he get that much bigger? I mean, Max is big, man.
He'd have to do some GSP stuff. Fuck around and.
I don't even know if he's got the height and the body frame for it, but maybe.
If he did it, he would. That would be a great way to make your case as the GOAT.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be against it. I don't know if the UFC would let it happen. I don't know. I just don't see it happening. But I would definitely watch it.
For sure.
But anyways, Happy New Year's to everyone. Y'all have a good night.
Happy New Year's to all. We'll move to the panel. Newcomer Rick, it was good having you on. What are your closing thoughts, good sir?
It's got to be, no one mentioned the tension thing, so I have to put my little 2-piece on that. I have to say, it's got to be, why would Conor want to fight this guy? For the rising money, yes. But you've got something to prove. You've just lost a fight that, you were big on, and you think you're gonna demolish this guy. There was lots of drama behind it. Let's be real. You've got to, don't start fighting this kickboxer that's 20 years old. Let's not do that. it's got to be a rematch of Aldo. It's got to be a fight of Jeremy Stevens. There's money in that. You can always say, oh, there's more money in Rising. Well, there's more money in the UFC. Let's be real. You're Conor McGregor. You should be wanting these big fights. You're in your prime. I can't remember who said that earlier. Great point, by the way. You should be fighting some of the best fighters in the UFC in your prime. Don't move on to this different organization. UFC are not gonna be happy about that. You know, my opinion on it, being real, you've got to fight for the titles in the UFC. Fuck all the expedition shit. Let's be real.
All right, 100%. All right, well, thanks for coming on the panel, Rick.
Thanks, man.
Yep, that was great. Yeah, I hear you. That's actually a great point. I like the passion. You know, you gotta fight someone in the UFC. Like, and I agree with you, man.
Real.
Yeah, the exhibition like that's just not a good look. Coming off this loss, you lost to
10
Floyd.
years from now, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you got time. Yeah, you don't want to see that take away from. But no, I think a even better point you brought up is like, man, you make more money than anybody to fight. So you would think that you would be the most active. You know, like if any other fighter said, hey, you'll make $5 million per fight, they would probably be trying to fight as often as they can, you know. So, but the thing with McGregor, you know, I guess he's got the other endeavors, the proper 12 and other stuff like that. So, and you know, once you're at such heights, I guess you might even be able to damage your brand, I guess, if you lose many times. But if you're one of the best fighters in the world and you make that much money per fight, you should definitely be out there just fighting and fighting as much as you can. While you're in your prime and at the height of your game. So, great points from Rick.
I see your point.
Money or no money, I think he's on the road to self-destruction ultimately if he doesn't change some things.
All right, yeah, and it's interesting to see that Conor was the one that kind of brought this up. That's interesting. I wonder where his head might be right now. So, Stamina MC, go ahead.
Go on. Yeah.
Okay, so Stamina MC, I was gonna say, what are your closing thoughts? Anything you want to get off your chest before we get out of here?
I was watching a Luke Thomas video within the last couple of days where he was talking about the notion of Amanda potentially being able to defend both belts at the same time. I'm not really going to talk about that too much, but what that got me onto thinking about was, while that kind of question mark resolves itself as to how things are going to work out between Bantam and the skeleton of a featherweight division, what happens with the rest of the women? Because we know how the UFC do like to line up their pay-per-views with championship fights and whatever else. They've showed no signs of slowing down in regards to how many events they have per year. So I'm like, okay, cool. We're only really talking now then about strawweight and flyweight. And 234 is next month. And it'll probably be a little bit late to try and put anyone else on that card. 235, now we know, has 2 championship fights on it. So they're not going to put another one on that. So now we're talking about April. Now, we know that neither Valentina nor Jessica...
Also, keep in mind, ESPN debut, they might, throw a title fight.
They might
review something like.
I mean, they might do that. They might feel like they're compelled to do that.
Yeah.
But that will only place more stress on the champions further down the calendar year when they need championship fights for their pay-per-views. It would make it worse for them to start putting championship fights on any of their non-pay-per-view cards. They only did that for the inaugural kind of ESPN thing with Cejudo and Dillashaw, which in itself just tied up 2 championships straight away, just in one fight. So they're kind of running out of options here. So then, like I said, we're at April now. We understand that Rose versus Jessica makes the most sense. It's been expressed, it's been talked about to fucking death, but it hasn't been announced. But if that fight doesn't happen in April, then that's a year since Rose last fought. So what then? But seeing as Valentina and Jessica didn't take a lot of damage in either of their fight, it kind of would make sense to put them in again as soon as it's possible. So then what? Do both of them go on the April card? And if not, then what? Because most of the other championships are kind of like they've done what they needed to do for now. So we're running out of options. When you know how the UFC love to scramble to get fights for their to headline and whatever else.
And
What's
now
that,
they don't have
Ross?
Cyborg who can just fight a girl from Invicta anymore. You know, on short notice, Amanda Nunes might want a little more time, and I got to make that weight, and yeah.
Yeah. Amanda's definitely not fighting in
I
the
got a
first.
question for you, Stamina. You at least seen at least a couple episodes of this Ultimate Fighter season, right? The women's featherweights and the men's heavyweights.
No,
I
I watched it. Yeah, I watched it.
I was just wondering because I was curious if you would probably know the answer to this question. The Macy Chiasson, didn't she win the show?
Yes.
Okay, I was curious because I'm pretty sure she's debuting at bantamweight.
It's Gina Mazzani.
Yeah, Gina Mazzani. Okay, yeah. So I'm just making sure I got that right. The winner of the show is actually going to be fighting at bantamweight.
Yeah, she's since gone on record with I think James Lynch or the BJ Penn guys to say that she's prepared to fight at either bantam or feather. It's just that was the offer that came up.
Okay.
She's not abandoning feather, but that's just what happened. Sort of thing.
Well, interesting. The UFC would then book her at bantam instead of feather. This is the girl that just won your featherweight show. If you're gonna do anything with division, put her in a featherweight fight. So
yeah, but then it could be gone. But then there's not really much else because unless Macy's gonna fight Megan, then that's kind of it. I mean, I personally am not a fan of tough matchups when there's no more tough, because the only other person that Macy could fight would be Leah Letson.
Yeah.
But Leah Letson was on the show anyway, but she had a UFC contract anyway, so she didn't really compete. She just went through the show. But I would not want to watch Macy fight Leah because in my mind, they're just tough fighters. So I want to see tough fighters fight UFC fighters and really get the trial by fire and show that they can fight at the top level.
Yep, 100%. That's how I felt about the women's flyweights.
Yeah, 100%. And they just made so many of those matchups. Seeing fucking, Roxy fight Sarge for the second time. It's like, I don't want to see that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see that shit anymore. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So yeah, I'm just waiting to see how. Yeah, to bring back to my original point and actually close my closing thought, just to see what happens after from March onwards as to what's going to happen with that, because the girls, in my mind, are the most viable options to fight next in terms of championship fights, but how that actually plays out, who the fuck knows? You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because as far as the dudes are, they're pretty much all gone. Actually, they're all gone. The flyweight and bantam is the ESPN card. Max Holloway just fought. Conor and Khabib, or Khabib rather, fuck Conor. Khabib's fucked. Woodley is on 235. Whitaker's at 234. Jones just fought.
And he's fighting at 235 again.
Mm-hmm. And DC's...
yeah, who's he fighting? Is Lesnar available? Is DC he's not a light heavyweight champion anymore, so he'd have to fight a heavyweight.
Yes. So it's DC and the girls. That's it. That's all they've got.
Yep.
Because any of those guys that are matched up now, they won't be able to fight again by March. So I don't know what the fuck they're going to do.
We'll see. They have to pull something out. Or, I mean, I don't want to jinx it. Something's going to happen. One of these fights coming up, man, where there's multiple title fights, someone's going to get, I don't want to jinx it, an injury to where the fight gets postponed. I don't know. But, yeah, the UFC's running out of options for title fights for 236 unless somebody wins their fight, early and they can make a quick turnaround like Jon Jones or something. Like, yeah, they're really kind of stretched for options here.
Yeah. I mean, even Jon Jones' one is not necessarily that quick. It's just quicker than we used to. We're still talking about March.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. 100%. And unless Conor wants to, he wants to fight Tenshu Nasukawa this instant. Maybe, you could have a Conor fight with no title, something like that, but that's about it. GSP, maybe. It's going to be something. They'd have to pull a rabbit out of their hat, though, I feel. So, with that
just to ask one quick question. Is it consensus that DC is going to defend his title against Stipe now? Because obviously the Lesnar fight's off. Obviously Jones is booked now, so is it only the Stipe fight that's pretty much left for him?
That's what he said.
Didn't DC say something about fighting Stipe? Cormier, Stipe. All right, and on that, I was gonna get your closing thoughts as well. I'm gonna pull that news up though. Infamous MMA. Your closing thoughts on today's panel?
A good panel. On the other hand, when is this hearing with Conor and Khabib? Like, it feels like this shit is never gonna happen. Like, when
The
When is it
hearing for
supposed to
Jon
happen?
Jones is supposed to happen, I believe, the 28th.
No,
or
the hearing
29th.
for Conor and Khabib.
Oh yeah,
for
that
the
was supposed to
brawl
happen
after.
late December. That was supposed to have happened. I
Yeah,
don't know what they're doing. I think
what's
there was
going on
another
with that?
postponement. I think it might have got
Yeah,
postponed again.
like
or,
twice, right?
yeah, yeah.
That's
I mean,
crazy.
I would imagine they're gonna come out and suspend him past Ramadan. I mean, he's gonna be out anyway. It's
Why do
like
they
if
keep?
you
Why do they
Khabib,
keep? Why do they
that
keep
works.
postponing this
I don't know.
hearing already?
Yeah, I
People
don't
want to
know.
find out what's gonna happen with Khabib and Conor.
And I'm sure once they make the suspension, it's gonna be time served. So all this time is gonna count anyway.
Yeah, I guess that's why Conor wants to fight in some other place since he
I
can't
guess
fight
might
in the
be able to
U.S.
fight
right
in
now.
Rizzy. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, he might be able to fight in Rising. On the other hand, Cody Garbran's coming back to fight Pedro Munoz, so he's finally coming back. Yep.
Okay.
Cody Garbran's making his return.
Boy,
I
you
didn't
better
see
work
that
on
yet.
that fucking head movement, man. That's a disgrace we did in that last fight. Fucking disgrace. I'm sorry. No, I mean, I was really when the fight, and like the way he got hit by that same right hand 3 times in a row, the stuff I was just shot fucking head. It was so fucking embarrassing. Oh my days! But yeah, no, he needs to improve, man. Because that was.
Dude, I
shocking.
think at this point, if someone fights Cody Garbrann, you go in the pocket and try to hit this dude because when you hit Cody on the chin, he falls. I mean,
to be fair, I mean, he took about 50 unanswered shots, and he didn't really go down after that. But yeah, he does get dropped easily. I guess you could say that, but he didn't get knocked out easily. To be fair, so yeah, he just needs to work on a head movement and that fight IQ because he was actually catching TJ on a lot of occasions in both fights. He just didn't finish the job off. I guess that's what the main problem was. He just got too over eager when he did drop him in those fights. So yeah,
well, he didn't drop him in the second fight.
Yeah, he kind of dropped him, but it was more of a slip, and then he caught him with a good right hand, and then he kind of entered the pocket. Yeah, he did slip, but then after that, he kind of
Cody thought he hurt him, and that's
And
bad
he rushed
IQ
in
on.
and got fucked up for
That
it.
was
Yeah.
very bad IQ on Cody. Cody, he thought he hurt TJ when TJ slipped, and then this dude ran to TJ and threw little baby 5. Like honestly, that showed to me he wasn't very confident. If you think you're like, oh my god, this is my chance to win the fight. No, bro. That sit your ass down. Which he got sat down.
Or get sat down. Yeah.
Yeah, he got sat down.
Yeah, that shit was crazy, man.
All right, well, we'll talk about Cody Garbrann versus Pedro Munoz some more coming up this week, and we'll for sure get another panel in this week as well.
Oh yeah, Pedro Munoz, that's not an easy fight either.
No, the Punisher, not at all.
That's a legit. That dude, he TKO'd Misha's old husband.
Brian Caraway.
Yeah, like the guy she threw away.
The guy that doesn't have his own name that just gets referred to exactly the way you just did.
Yeah, you're not supposed to call him by his name.
God damn.
Ultra cuck Brian Caraway.
Oh, yo, Misha's like, I want to get pregnant, but I'm not about to birth your child.
Oh my god. Yo, you got no chill infamous. Man.
Yeah, you can keep those genes, homie.
Yo, poor Brian. Yo, you don't hear from him anymore either, right? Like, hopefully he's not depressed or anything. Like, I hope he finds another woman in his life.
Oh, I'm sure he has, man. No, but
I don't know, man.
Maybe not. Of course, it's not no Misha Tate, I'm sure, but I'm sure there's somebody out there. But no, with that being said, though, guys, it's been awesome. I would try and stay on longer, but potentially we can go over to Infamous MMA's channel. Make sure you guys subscribe to him and continue the hangout. But honestly, my internet could be getting shut off anytime in this next hour, and I'm going to go download some movies on Netflix to watch offline.
Seriously?
Yeah. I got to wait till the pawn shop wasn't open today, so my roommate wasn't able to go pawn their TV to pay the internet. So we got to wait till tomorrow morning, and it was due tonight. So we ain't got the $60 to cover it. So tomorrow we're going to pay that shit.
Donate $10 right now.
That's not enough.
You're so hooked.
What happened? You what?
That's it. 10's not enough. It's like $54.49. Oh, that we're short.
I'll throw it on.
No, it's all good, man. It'll be back on tomorrow.
Yeah, it's all right.
Real quick sidelight. If you look at the women's or the rankings, UFC rankings, Cyborg and Megan's name used to be listed under featherweight. For over a week, there's nobody there.
Uh-oh. You're getting rid of no more featherweights on the rankings.
Yeah, UFC, don't you?
That'd be crazy.
On the UK version of the UFC site, there's never ever been anyone's name at featherweight. Never, not once.
There's a UK version.
Yeah, just literally uk.ufc.com. It won't actually allow us to go into the American one because of the IP. It just keeps kicking us back to the English one. So your guys' ones look slightly different. It's got different graphics and whatever else.
Yeah.
There's fucking nothing.
I'm not even seeing women's featherweight, like even champion.
It doesn't even show women's flyweight. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah, on the mobile application, there's no flyweight either at all. Just bantamweight and straw.
They actually changed the website itself quite
Yeah,
recently.
they did.
In the last 4 months. I don't know if it's Europe or UK.
I hate the new website, man.
Oh, Dennis.
Flyweight is listed, just no featherweights.
Yeah, they don't even have like Amanda Nunes listed as the
if you look at it
featherweight
on
champion
mobile,
right now.
There's like a little drop down menu on mobile, but you can only see strawweight and bantamweight. There's no flies if you look at it on your phone. It's it's fine, but on mobile, yeah, just straw and bantam, nothing.
Yeah, UFC's still getting this new. They completely changed the website and everything. Yeah, I don't like the new one either, man. You don't get to see the live fight stats, their stats in their old fights, takedowns landed, all type of strikes landed, significant strikes landed. They don't show that anymore. That's how I used to. That's how I made a lot of my predictions and did a lot of my research. They fucked that over.
They fucked the whole shit up.
Now it's a lot harder to make my predictions, but hey, it is what it is. Just watch some fights or something, fighters that you know. But yeah, man, thank you guys for coming on the panel. I'm gonna hit Netflix before it's too late, and I'm sitting here watching old Friday DVDs. So thank you guys for coming on the panel, man. It's been awesome. It's been epic, and yeah, man, make sure you guys check out Infamous MMA. And who else has a channel on here? Given surname, John Doe Forward. Anybody? Nope. I think we're good.
I got a Twitter if you guys want to follow me. And
you can follow Forward
Thinking One.
Forward Thinking on Twitter.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
For that, man. It's hard this week.
Salute to the panel. Shutting the panel down, guys.
Salute.
It is what it is. Thank you guys for coming on. It's been awesome. See you guys next time. I'm out.
Take it.
All right, guys. Let's get the panel off the screen, family. Let's pull up the chat. Been neglecting the chat a little bit while we've been on panel and been in conversation. Cam Murphy, Mr. IWC, Dutch Style, Black Clouds. I think Lewis is working on a TV show. Don't know if it's a comedy or what. Holy shit. That is something I'm all in for. Derrick Lewis TV. Honestly, seriously, I need to see that movie, something. Fucking, that would just be funny already. Rick Sanchez. Given the crazy with the crazy bong, I'm him. Take it easy, family. Jonathan Wildenberg says JJ will easily beat Smith. You casual says Dutch Style Black Clouds. MMA Bud says to save the MSG card. Black Beast. Dutch Style Black Clouds. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, yeah, man. I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna hit up Netflix. I'm gonna download some offline movies so I have something to watch tonight for the next few hours till I go to sleep. Yeah, man.